First of all, huge thanks to Tabletop Loot for dice. They have fantastic dice. You can get some really great designs at tabletoploot.com. If you use the code WTTP Dice, you get 15% off your next purchase. So Nerdwear from Maddie. Maddie has some incredible stuff in the works. He's got some great merch for Welcome to the Party. You can get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a water bottle, a cool hat, whatever it is you need. If you want cool clothes for your body, go to sonerdwear.com. Use the code WELCOME at checkout. Get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdwear, it's what the nerds wear. Welcome to the Party is proudly sponsored by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your browser. And wouldn't you dang know it, we're using it for this game to do music and sound effects. We've got character sheets in there. You can upload your own tokens and maps if you really want to. You can get all of that and more for free. Roll20.net/start/WTTP and make yourself an account. And we are also sponsored by Devin Rue, the Mistress of Maps. If you want some cool fantasy maps for your games, you want to find out some cool art, go to rueinc.com for some of the best cartographical content on the internet. We have a Patreon. If you want to support this fantastic channel and these fantastic people with your financial generosity, you can go to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. Your support helps us keep working on our mission to platform LGBTQ creators, BIMPOC players and creators, and generally creating a healthy play environment on the internet for people to enjoy actual play content that is good. Also, if you are looking for some social time during this trying time and you want to hang out with some of these fantastic people or others who are not on this stream, you can join our Discord that is in the doobly-doo down there and in the doobly-doo over there on the chat. Go check it out. There's a bunch of us out there. There's all kinds of ways to get in on games if you want to play a one-shot of something, or if you just want someone to hang out with who's also cool as you are. That's right. Everyone's cool. So, with that being said, I would like to take this time to go around the table and introduce the wonderful cast and crew that we have here assembled. We're going to go in. Do I even have the right order? I have the order right here. It's in this little player that's popped up on a monitor that you can't see. But trust me, it's there. We'll start by having everyone tell us who you are, where people can find you on the internet, and who you'll be playing for us today. We start with the wonderful Rue.
Hello, I am Rue. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Adya, who also is, her pronouns are also she, her. My Twitter is right below. You can find me at Cherry Drop.
Fantastic. We move along to Alex.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and I'll be playing Virash, the monstrous playbook, who uses she, her pronouns. I'm going to share every episode until people yell at me about it. The amazing fan art done by one of our fans, Gosh Awful. Yeah, look how cool she is. Yay.
So cool.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Fabulous. We continue to Viditya.
Hi, I'm Viditya. I use he, him pronouns. My Twitter is under there at Viditya Valetti. And I'm playing Ushan, who goes by he, they, and is the spooky playbook. Yes.
Yeah. Forgot for a second. It's a lot
Creepy.
to take in. Yeah. Fantastic. We proceed with JR.
Hey everyone, I'm JR Zambrano. My pronouns are he, him, as are my character, Ben, who is the expert playbook. You can find me on Twitter right down there. You can also read my RPG articles, essays, and whatever else at thebelloflostsouls.net. And then later this summer, I'll be doing a Kickstarter. I'll probably tell you more about that at the end of the show.
You should definitely get in on that Kickstarter. It is very
yeah.
exciting. So stick around to learn more. And last but certainly not least, we got Kevin.
I'm Kevin. My pronouns are he, him. I'm not muted this week, thank God. And I play Mac, who is using the Crooked Playbook, the most normal of this group of weirdos who hunt other weirdos. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, @_knack, and my games at knitknack.itch.io. I don't know, the link's on my Twitter.
I believe you. And so can the rest of the internet. Fantastic. And I am the keeper for this game. Simon, you can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. My pronouns are he, him. I'm going to be running the ding dang monsters. So this is Monster of the Week, the Unnatural Disasters campaign. So, if you are just joining us, we always like to remind people about what you're about to see. So, this is a monster hunting game. It's going to be a little creepy, it's going to be a little gory, but it's not going to get ever that intense, right? It's never going really above PG-13, occasionally into a little bit further than that, but it's not going like hardcore Quentin Tarantino murder simulator, torture simulator, right? So once again, viewer beware, you're in for a scare. The content warnings for this series are in the chat that are linked over there. We also have a rotating list of content warnings for each episode that I make sure to give everybody so that you know exactly how you're going to be scared each time. I think it's a lot more fun if you know what to expect, so that when you find out how those things come around in the story, they're still just as satisfying without blindsiding you with something that you're not prepared for. So this particular episode is going to be dealing with supernatural insomnia, nightmares, distress caused to children. There is no harm. I want to say this very clearly for everyone at the top of the show. No harm will come to any children in this show or this episode. Flat out. Kids will be scared. They will not be harmed. And loss of vision, if that's a thing for you at all. So now that you know sort of what the monster is going to be, or the phenomenon is going to be for this week, let's get into the details. So there has been a string of monstrous activity across the United States. It has mostly struck cold climates because that's the way that we wrote them out initially. Certainly just a happenstance. But as we move into the supple spring of our game's gear, we are changing gears a little bit. We are going to somewhere a little different and yet familiar. Um, it could be somewhere that you live. It could be somewhere that is very much like somewhere that you live. We're going once again to. We've been doing these like small towns. This is a suburb of a larger city, a larger metropolitan area. We're going to a little place called Muddy River, which is may or may not be visually and thematically and aesthetically inspired by certain suburbs of the city of Boston. Um, there's a variety of places like this, but it's suffice to say it is quiet usually. There's some people that are like just out here doing their thing, and usually nothing particularly exciting happens, but now that calm is being disrupted. So, this week on the opening credits, let's add one or two things to where we find each of our characters in the opening crawl. So we started last episode. I think this is really fun to do every time, is like have everyone put like one or two clips of their character to tell us who they are and what their position in the story is as we do our opening scene. If anyone feels particularly inspired, feel free to jump out, and we'll just bounce around until we've covered everyone.
Actually, I want Ben to go first because
I think we start with Ben, who is reading from the field agent's manual in one clip, while a series of various monster hunting tools, stakes, cloves of garlic, silver, that sort of thing lies in the desk in front of him, and he meticulously marks each one. We also see him wandering down a hallway holding a mug of steaming liquid. We also see just one final shot of him, because this is the Casual Friday episode, in a Hawaiian shirt, with a drink that has an umbrella in it, and he just kind of gestures for more.
I love that.
Awesome.
It's not fruit or punch or alcohol or anything. It's just coffee, but it's in a, it's in a glass with an umbrella.
It's nice. Ashan, like, you just have like a shot of Ashan like in front, about to like buy some coffee, and then like kind of pats around and does it. It just kind of is like, and then like reaches over and pulls out from like behind the register their wallet, and it's like, and then pays there. And then and then the other one is they're sitting in a diner, and at first it looks like nobody's there, and they're like chatting and having fun. They're just talking to an empty chair, and then like as the camera moves, it like reveals a bunch of little ghosts, like a bunch of like locals, and they're all having a nice little lunch.
Aw.
Yeah.
So cute.
I'll say for Virash, I think that she is in like a dimly lit alleyway getting into a fight with like a big like werewolf or something, and she gets punched in the face and sort of knocked back against the wall. We can see her sunglasses are broken, and then she takes off her sunglasses and is wearing another pair of sunglasses under them. And then there's one where she's in the office and one of the coworkers is like struggling with like the big heavy water cooler refill thing. And she just like takes it from him with one hand and just slam dunks it into the machine one-handed, but then like it breaks and water is like pouring out of it everywhere, and she's like, ugh.
I love it.
Awesome.
Okay, Adia starts off with the scene where at first you see her just like that scene with Virash where she's punching someone. She's kind of like, it peels off to the corner and she's just kind of recording from the side. So you think she's suspicious of Virash, but then it's just a series of her recording everybody in different like mundane activities. Then it cuts to a scene of her like at a stand-up night or something in the audience, and you zoom in on her notebook and she's like, I still don't understand jokes. What? and it's just like a bunch of jokes that she's copied down that they've said and a bunch of question marks next to all of them. And then the final scene cuts to a forest, and she's like walking out of the forest and there's like twigs in her hair, and she's wearing what I'm wearing with like a cap and sunglasses, and she just looks tired out of her mind because she slept the night in the forest.
Good.
I think we get a shot of Mac like getting off of a plane and with like a probably a small, like not nice but small private plane, like one of those twin engine type deals, and then following out are a bunch of her minions, and like and they like start unloading some stuff, and like she starts handing out like probably inch thick envelopes to each of these dudes, and like and then we get like audio no audio like sort of speaking discussion, and they all like kind of get in their cars and drive away, and then we follow Mac at in her car, and then we get a cut to Mac in like what looks like a boiler room, and then she meets with some like shadowy figure in like robes and a hood or some shit, and like she hands off a duffel bag that we saw her carrying off the plane, and then she gets like a large envelope, and then she walks through the halls out of this boiler room into like what looks like a donut shop, and then she just stands in line and orders a bunch of donuts.
Just another day.
I love that.
All right.
You like open a donut box and it reveals unnatural disaster.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
plays on one of the donuts.
Yes.
Oh, the show's logo is drawn out. Yeah, on the donut.
It's like
Oh, that's
keto.
awesome. I love that. Great. Now that we've had our opening credits, I'd love to make a move for that. Just like some little backup mechanic thing or something in there.
Yeah.
Some of y'all have at the start of mystery options, which I'm happy to let you roll now, and we can fit them into the briefing as we do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because Ben is the man with the plan,
I
and
am.
Ashan has premonitions.
I will go ahead and roll my man with the plan roll right now. Ooh.
My
Ooh.
I get to hold two.
premonition. Am I gonna?
For
Okay.
those in the chat who are unfamiliar with this move, at the beginning of each mystery, I roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus, I hold 2. On a 7 and 9, I hold 1. I can spend this hold to be where I need to be prepared and ready. On a miss, the keeper gets to hold 1 and can spend it to put me in the worst place, unprepared and unready.
Ooh.
But that's never happened.
Never will.
Oh, why did you say that?
I don't know, we got like, what, 10, 12 more chances for that to happen?
Oh
Yeah, something like
no.
that.
We gotta fail.
13, I think. Oh, I guess, yeah, 12 now. Yeah, okay, you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, and you've got a 9 for your premonitions.
Yeah, which means I get a clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen, and I mark experience if I can stop it,
Okay.
and no bonuses to preventing it. That's what a 10 plus does.
Yeah. Okay, so I think at the top of this episode, we get our establishing shot of the grounds, because we haven't had one, I think, in a full episode, so we need to reestablish for the viewer, for the new viewer who's coming into the show, like, where are we? We're at some place in New England, somewhere in rural New England. It is a sort of rural forested area that's sort of like built out of what looks like maybe an old farm. So there's old buildings that have been repurposed or renovated, big farmhouse, big barn, like silos, stuff like that. Some fields that obviously haven't been taken care of in a while and are being like repurposed, big greenhouse, that kind of thing. And of course, as we pan into the farmhouse and go down the stairs and around a secret elevator, we go down into the actual headquarters. It's very, very Hellboy BPRD, where it's all clean lines, and this is where all the money went, into the headquarters for the North American branch of PCRI. So we've done our briefings in the break room in the past. I think to break with tradition for a mystery, we're somewhere else, just to flesh out what else is down here. And there's just about anything that we could imagine is in this facility. Like, there's training rooms for physical fitness, there's weapons training, there's a magical library that we've established, there's some poor overworked person down there.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
landline there that like the person has to use their personal phone.
Phone.
Yeah,
We have
what do
a
we-
haunted briefing. Yeah.
yeah, there's an actual meeting room, but it's presently haunted.
Yeah, exactly.
By the
I think-
Kraken tank.
Kraken.
I really like that. I think we are by this just like inexplicably large tank of water.
Legally
and
distinct
maybe
from
there-
like the Ape Sapien tank.
Right.
Yeah, I think there are like other. This is like where all the aquatic paranormal creatures that are either on the team or just sort of here for other reasons are kind of kept. And every now and then you can see like a dark shadow swimming by. Yeah.
Shape of water tank. How often does Virash spend down here?
Grinding Nemo.
Grinding.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. What is the hydromantic something?
It's romantic.
Something. Some water pun is the department. There's definitely a whole division that's like, you are the seals for this place. You go out and you dive, and you have to gather stuff from all those sunken wrecks that are around and things like
Right.
Mhm.
that. But we're here. It's like an aquarium. I think like
Right.
one of those aquarium rooms where there's like mood lighting, kind of that dim, gentle light,
Mhm.
vaulted ceiling, and then the fish tank. So there's actual fish swimming around in here, but there's every now and again like a shape, like a massive shape, just like drifts around. Maybe it's a tentacle, maybe it's a megalodon, maybe it's both. We don't know.
Tentacled megalodon.
Is it like is it kind of like we don't know how far in, like how deep this tanks go?
It was there when we
Like
got it.
endless blue.
I think you're right. I think it is called like the hydromantic containment and maintenance or something like that. But everyone, and like even Ben, everyone calls it the aquarium.
Yeah. So the team is here. I think maybe because it's Casual Friday, and so I think there's probably like, there's complimentary donuts. There's free donuts and bagels. It's like the combo for like some people don't want something sweet in the morning, and some people will like die if they don't get anything savory or they can't stand it. So the two genders, bagels and donuts, are represented here in
There's
equal
bagels
measure.
and cream cheese, but no toasters.
No toasters.
There's no toast. It's too much water. We're not gonna.
Right. We don't want to risk anything. But I think that's where the team is like here, just like getting your breakfast, your free breakfast, because it's Casual Friday.
Do we have any friends that are here? Like, are we like hanging out with people, or is it just kind of like?
I imagine you're probably schmoozing with people. At
Okay,
some
just
point.
checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There are other people that work in this office. You're just like the main characters.
Oh right. Of course.
That's great. But I don't know. Is there someone that you have in mind, or that?
Well, I kind of like the idea that Varush is just kind of hanging out next to a tank and like chatting with somebody who's inside the water.
That seems
yeah.
cool, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it could be
Probably
the character I didn't end up playing, the sexy anglerfish.
Yeah.
There
Oh yeah.
That's good.
We can
Yeah,
just
it's
see
just-
their little bobbly light.
Mm-hmm. We get along really well because it's like, oh, my light looks like a ghost, and I'm like, I can talk to ghosts.
That's really good.
That's how we became good friends.
That's how it is.
Nice. Virash, to continue her theme of eating ridiculous food, has taken a pink glazed bagel with sprinkles on it, and then a chocolate glazed donut with sprinkles on it, cut them both in half, and then spread peanut butter and jam on the middle of it and put it back together again for the
Wow.
ultimate
Oh my
experience.
god.
Ah,
Wow.
Powerful.
But sugar, too much.
so much.
And it's got to have another weird thing: peanut butter and jam, and also whipped cream. She's just so it oozes out a bunch when she.
Yeah,
smooshes
that's
it
what I was
together.
gonna say. It's just like whoosh and squishes out everywhere.
Oh, good.
I think Ben is sitting back. There's like a bench across from the megafauna tank, and he's just watching the shapes, relaxing, kind of looking at the way the light kind of is all wavy as it filters through the water. Taking a bite of an everything bagel with some plain cream cheese.
Yep.
So good.
Fair.
I think Adya is sitting on the ground, maybe somewhere near Ashan, but she's like with her back against the tank, and she definitely she has like a donut in her hand, but she's keeps dipping into sleep, so she tries to take a bite, and then she smashes into it, and then wakes up, and then keeps doing it, so there's just donut bits all over her and all over the place. Oh. Currently, she's definitely fast asleep.
Oh.
She had
I keep you keep about to fall down, and I'm just talking, and I just kind of push you back up.
I start going the other way, and you have to grab my arm and pull me back.
Awesome.
I think Mac has grabbed a bagel and cream cheese and just looking around, bewildered, how bagels and cream cheese and no toaster. What monsters are you?
Yes.
You offer untoasted bagels. Why? Why?
Agreed.
Mac, would you
There's a
say
big
that-
sign on the wall that says no unsecured electronic devices allowed in the aquarium.
Someone's written toasters beside it.
Yeah.
Mac, would you say that
Sneers.
creature we caught last week was more of a humanoid eel or an eel-like human?
Is there a distinction that you're trying?
That's what I'm wondering. I just want to make sure I get the paperwork right. And Ben kind of
There's
looks
2
over
check
at
boxes.
one of the other tanks where you can kind of see like no one's really sure. It is a vaguely human, vaguely eel-shaped thing.
Uh, I would go with a hyphen. Just
I'm
cover your
trying to
bases.
think if the Peoria eelman or the Peoria man eel is more accurate.
Eel folk.
Eelfolk?
Eelkin.
Eelkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. I forgot that.
I'm not exactly versed in gendering eels or.
Well,
Like a
this
gen-
one identified as male, so that's why I was going with.
Oh, I might have missed that. I might have been.
Oh, you were breaking into the sheriff's department. Great work clearing
Allegedly.
our names, by the way.
Allegedly.
Oh, right. Allegedly.
I would not say it's breaking in if you have the keys, but
You did steal the keys.
that'll count too. Yeah.
I guess, okay, unlawful entry. While you were committing unlawful entry into the sheriff's department.
I mean, say it louder, Ben. I just want everybody to hear.
Mac unlawfully entered the sheriff's office.
Allegedly, says Ancient Stone, walking into the room with a notepad.
That's good.
Yeah, Agent Stone walks over and pulls up a chair. So in one hand he's got the folder, and in the other, it's like a lovingly crafted bagel sandwich. It's like the egg bagel, the cream cheese. You got the lox, you got the tomato, the onion, the lettuce on top.
Oof.
Ooh.
But I feel like Agent Stone is into open face sandwiches.
We
Yeah.
just got 2.
Yeah, so there's two halves, and never the two
Yeah.
shall meet.
Yeah. It's a power move, really.
Double open face.
Right,
Agent-
double open
this,
face.
this is
Sorry, there are
perfect,
locks. Is that in the break room? I'll be back.
Yeah,
'Cause,
gestures.
Agent Stone is like Idris Elba, right? We decided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
perfect.
just wanted to. Just curious.
What's he wearing for Casual Friday?
Oh yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like
what's
Casual
everybody
Friday
wearing?
doesn't
Casual
exist for him. Or if it does, like, you wouldn't know. Oh, no. So it's a black turtleneck with a charcoal blazer,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
thick.
He looks
and then
so
like
good.
dark wash denim,
Ew.
and then like brown wingtips. I think
Oh,
is the
man.
casual.
Fuck.
I
Yeah.
have like a big crush on Thaddeus Stone.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Although-
Dear
everybody.
diary, I'm gay for my own NPCs. Oh,
Don't act like that's the
Um,
first time you wrote that down.
no, it's a problem. Would I date my PC?
PCs, no, that's too far. NPCs, yeah.
Yeah, no. Certainly, like, not other people's characters. My characters, maybe. I don't know.
PCs are trash fires. NPCs are fine.
Isn't there something alluring about a trash fire, though? Don't you just want to make a mistake sometimes?
You wanna, but you shouldn't.
Everyone is
Uh,
someone's mistake.
Exactly. That's right.
Oh
Let that be a
God.
lesson to you at home.
Speaking of which, Virash gives Agent Stone kind of a condescending look and says, "Well, that outfit doesn't look very casual, does it?" She's like showing off her Hawaiian shirt with a couple of buttons undone.
Looks down at the
Nice.
Hawaiian shirt. He looks down at the notepad and then looks back up and says, "What, are you going to report me to the fashion police?"
Watch out! I hear they have fabulous batons.
I rarely know how to respond to you sometimes, Viraj. But he puts the plate down on I think there's like a work table. Like those old cafeteria. It's definitely taken from a cafeteria, actually. It's the tables that have the benches on the attached like scoop metal bars, so you kind of like slide into it and it's all one big weird piece.
Is it beige or is it hospital green? That's the big question.
Beige. Yeah.
Beige. Yeah.
Slightly less offensive. Yeah. But he puts the bagel down and pops up in the folder. Hate to be the bearer of bad news on a casual Friday, as I know we're all looking for a little bit of breathing time, but evil never sleeps, doesn't it?
And neither do we, sir.
And neither are the people of Muddy River, Massachusetts.
Oh.
This is unfortunate. I admit, I know over the holidays we had, well, what turned out to be a bit of a bigger problem, but something that seemed to be possibly a mundane cause. This one we can't quite piece together. There's been a rash of cases of inexplicable insomnia among the residents here. It started among the kids, at which parents were most likely to explain it away as too much sugar before bedtime, or maybe just something in the water, early infant development. I don't really know how kids work, frankly, but then it started spreading to the adults as well, and it grew until most of this suburban region is experiencing either terrible sleep, inexplicable sleep paralysis, or simply too scared to sleep in the first place. And we've had a few reports that some people have even gone blind overnight. We have reason to believe, based on all of the evidence here, that we're looking at some sort of supernatural influence. And so we need you to go out and strut your stuff and piece together what exactly is happening.
Of course, sir. Can you point us to any contacts or places to scope out first? What's the initial recon like?
The initial discussion is, well, it's a little limited. We were tipped off by an agent passing through, actually, who was reported that the locals were feeling quite stressed out. As to anyone particularly useful, there's a Terry Mills. She is sort of the local gossip. She knows a lot of what's happening in the neighborhood. She was actually the person that responded to our agent in the area, and gave him most of the details to start this whole thing up. I imagine you could start there.
And perhaps we can speak with some of the victims who have been unable to sleep. Check out their houses, see if we can find signs of any kind of creature.
Yes, that would be a wise first move. I can get you a few names.
That'd be great, sir.
I think while you're having this conversation is when Ashan gets the premonition, because it seems to happen like while we're talking about monsters. So for
Like
Ashan, yeah, exactly. Like boop, boop, boop. You get a vision of something that is to happen, right?
Yes, it's things that are going to happen. So you get clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen.
Okay. There is a as everyone's talking, like your vision sort of starts to cloud and go a little milky white, and then on this kind of like white canvas, there's like splashes of images, sort of like watercolors, like being thrown onto the page, the canvas of your mind's eye. There is an image of a tall, lanky figure drifting into a window where the curtains are blowing, and there's a flash, and that figure is like doing this with its hands, and then like it looks like either dropping something and also like pulling something back at the same time. The person in the bed like turns and tosses restlessly, and you see like some kind of energy in this figure's hands stuffed into its pockets. It climbs into the window and turns back, and as it leaps out the window and like sails off into the night with like thrusting something forward, almost like a umbrella or something. It goes sailing out from the shadows that are being cast in this bedroom. Long, spindly hands reach out from the shadows and start grabbing at things. There's a flash again, and then this one is very hazy. It's like a, whoa, I don't know where I am in space and time, but you see that same figure being like sort of like creeping around a house, and then it pulls itself like around the corner of a door frame and is about to step in, and this horrifying chimera-like animal bursts through the wall. It has like a long like trunk-like appendage and massive claws and fur, and the two of them dive at each other and start wrestling, and that's where your vision fades.
Oh, dang. I kind of like raise my hand because I'm sure like we're still in the middle of like a briefing, or it's like wrapping up. And then I go, do we know anything about like a weird, tall, Mary Poppins like creature? Possibly.
A Mary Poppins.
Yeah, like, you know, it comes in through the windows, steals your soul, I don't know, and then leaves out a window, but then, you know, like has an umbrella. Is that in our records? I like look over to Ben.
I'll check the archives. There are a number of cryptids that correspond to window entry, unfortunately, but the umbrella narrows it down a little.
What about, I mean, chimeras are pretty common, right?
Certainly, there's a variety of hybrids and gestures, stone gestures at the tank, and like something swims by that's like the body of an otter with the head of a shark,
Yeah.
but like squid tentacles in the back.
I remember that one.
I'll go, we might want to keep an eye out for one of those as well.
I'll see what I can dig up on manticores, chimeras, and other related creatures, I suppose. This is one of your instincts.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Can you repeat what you were saying? Because I was
I was just zoning out. Right. I was just saying, this is a close enough area that I think you'll be able to take one of your own vehicles, and certainly make sure to keep track of your mileage so that we can reimburse you for fuel. Of course, there is a $15 snack budget per day, and of course, for anything else, the company card for personal meal expenses accounts for everything.
Just go ham on those.
I love you. We're like, oh, company car. Meal expenses.
$15.
I'll go pack up the mobile field office. So we have something to bring with us.
What's a? Never mind. Sorry.
Never minding.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before heading out?
Yeah, I think as the room has mostly cleared, Adya is still there asleep, and Virash has sort of like leaned down, and I think has sort of like hunkered down in front of her so that her face is like a couple inches in front of Adya's, and like gives her a little tap on the shoulder to wake her up.
What? I didn't sleep in the forest tonight. What?
And I give you
Oh my
kind
God.
of a
Whoa.
I give you kind of a crooked smile, which is intense because I have sharp teeth and I'm like right next to you. And I say, "Looks like you're a little bit tired today, Adya."
No, I'm fine.
Mhm.
I wear these shades to look cool, like Mac.
Well, you do look very cool. And
It's definitely
I
not
just
to hide my eyes.
just wanted to give you a little advice. You think
Okay.
too much, Adya. You have a very keen intellect, but I know that any tool gets dull if it's overused. You need to rest that intellect. Just act like I do, on instinct. Just do things. Don't think about it. And I like swipe a box of donuts off the table. Why did I do that? I don't know. I just felt like it. I'm gonna eat those off the carpet later.
You'd better. That's how we get ants otherwise.
That's how we get it.
Adia's like, but you threw them on the floor so you could eat them off, so you did it on purpose. What?
Nope. No, wasn't even thinking about it. Forgot it was carpeted in here. Really doesn't make a lot of sense for an aquarium room, but
was going to
you know
say.
what? That's how we do our interior design here.
There are just marked off carpet areas.
So I'm just saying, try it. Try it my way for once on this mission. Don't think about what you're doing. Just go. And with that, I stand up and get ready to leave.
Adia's like still kind of sleepy, and she's like, "Don't think. I don't know how to do that."
Exactly. Exactly.
She's like, people do that? They do things without thinking?
I'm poking my claws into individual donuts to pick them up.
You have taken your fair share of donuts from everyone else.
And then some. Knowing how cheap this place is, $15 snack budget my ass.
I was gonna say Mac's company card is like rubbed raw from like the amount of times it's been swiped.
Max probably sold in a couple other teams' company cards to make up for the
Yeah,
deficit.
definitely. Definitely.
That's
Hey,
amazing.
Keeper, could I get a quick scene in a lab with a tech as we're packing up to leave?
Totally.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we cut from that over to one of the labs where Ben is doing something.
Yeah, well, gathering up like some, powdered silver and liquid silver and wolfsbane and that sort of things. Anything to keep the mobile field office stocked. And
Natch.
Ben kind of approaches one of the techs and asks, "So, how's the analysis on that mineral sample we brought back coming?"
Somebody's
We
bringing it back.
recommended some electron probe microanalysis or neutron activation analysis. It seemed to defy most chemical tests at first.
Yeah. Let's see. Who's a good touchstone actor for this person? Give me someone like kind of sassy.
Sassy.
But also like dedicated.
I'm really bad at actors. I'm no help here.
Yeah.
Janelle Monáe?
Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah, sure,
better
it's
than
Janelle
Monáe. Perfect.
Great.
The Arcandroid they self.
I mean,
Yeah, so
Into it.
this
You want it
this tech is
fast.
played by Janelle Monáe, right?
Wow, we got some amazing guest stars.
I know.
It's really
The
good.
budget is your imagination.
Yeah, like Next Generation, right? Like everyone was on Next Generation at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
And Law and Order, they get everyone in and out, right? It's like
Mhm.
or like up and comers, or you go back and you watch them like 6 years
Mhm.
in the past, and like, oh, this is where so and so, big name Hollywood, wherever. Anyway, side note: if you ever go to the theater, if we're ever allowed to go to the theater again, a great game to play is to open up your playbill and see how many of the actors have been a side character on a Law and Order episode. It's usually
All of them.
all of them. So yeah, Janelle Monáe Labtech is sort of looking at the mineral, I think, like really close to it. Like there's a close-up shot of their face distorted in the glass that this ore is underneath, and they like come around the corner. It's You're right. Every single substance that we've tried testing it against has had some sort of repellent, or it doesn't respond. It's not catalyzing with any of the usual acid, the bases. The gas test doesn't seem to change anything. If anything, it's almost like this thing has a mind of its own. I mean, we can't predict accurately when anything is going to cause some sort of reaction. Those few times that it has done something, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where it is. The least that we can say, we've done all sorts of back tracing on it. We've looked at its chemical makeup, its the mineral contents. It doesn't seem to have more than the most trace amounts of chemicals or minerals from Earth. I mean, we could be looking at a completely different mineral.
Interesting. I wonder if it's maybe connected to the meteorite that triggered the Phaeton event in the first place, which, as we all know, put us in business 5 years ago.
I don't know, Ben. That seems like a long stretch. I mean, it's possible, but
I only mention it because before I started working here, I was an analyst, and patterns are patterns no matter where they show up.
well, I guess that's why you get paid the bucks to go out in the field, right?
Yes,
The regular bucks.
as they once said in the Saturday Night Live digital short, Chronic, I am dropping so many Hamiltons, you might as well call me Aaron Burr.
They like
Oh, Ben.
wince.
Ben watches TV.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Joke.
I only feel it's proper to give that joke attribution where it's due.
Yeah.
That striped lab coat is quite lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you. If you'll excuse me,
Yes, of course.
there's just something on this computer. I don't know who's been using it, but it's absolutely got all this gunk all over it. This is one of the most dirty computers I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
And they go over and start wiping down the keyboard.
I think there's a moment where they and Ben just like turn directly into the camera and look at it for like 5 seconds.
Like a little bit too long. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
That's how we got her on the show. That
Yeah.
ad placement.
Hey, I'd do it in a heartbeat, or for less, or more, whatever. Ben goes and whose car are we taking?
Max car.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What is Mac's car?
Which
well,
car?
Muddy
Yeah.
River. Muddy River. You said it's outside of Boston, so that's a couple hour drive away. I think Mac's car is just sitting outside, like right outside the front doors of the agency, like not in the parking lot, like literally on the curb out front, because Mac doesn't care. And it's actually a lot nicer car than the other ones that Max brought. This is like one of those Mercedes SUVs,
Ooh.
like nice shiny black with the chrome and everything. It's big enough for everybody.
Excellent.
Big
I
fan.
give you an appreciative look as I'm like sliding my giant sword into the trunk. There's plenty of room.
Yeah. The upholstery, please. I just had it detailed.
Can you move your tail so that it?
Ben carefully maneuvers one of the metal crates labeled "Field Office Kit."
Uh-huh.
No, it's probably like a Field Office Liaison Kit, so the abbreviation is something like FOLK.
Ooh.
Cute.
Natch. Good. And you drive. So it's like a couple hour drive to get out there. It's closer to you than it was to get up to where you last were up in Vermont. So as you arrive, I think it's like late afternoon, like 4 o'clock. It's spring, so there's a little bit of snow. It's New England, so there's still a little snow on the ground, but it's like melting. And since it's the modern era, like the next day it'll be 70 degrees, and then
Yeah.
after that it'll snow. So it's really anybody's guess out here. But as you arrive, yeah, this is it's a nice looking place. It's kind of got a couple of colonial style homes that have obviously been renovated and updated. You're sort of driving around the outside of this area. Big fences, big yards. You get into the slightly more settled areas where this phenomenon has been happening, and the town itself is nice. It's a lot of like brick and stone. Some colonial aesthetic where like here is a subway that has been built out of like an old colonial building, like the sandwich shop, not like the underground.
Yeah.
Things like that. And you cruise around.
I've
There's a
done one
couple.
thing on the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to contact my minions, like my crew, to go and try and collect Terry and bring her to the local diner so we can talk to her like directly,
Yeah.
really quick.
Fantastic. So you pull up there. I think that place, it's the Muddy River Tavern. So it used to be, this would never happen in actual Massachusetts because the Historical Society would murder you. But I think it's built out of an old colonial, like Revolution era tavern that has since had its ground floor. Well, it's all ground floor, but like there's a slight extension that was built on top of it. But like the main area has been converted into a diner. So there's like some of the old set dressing like in a corner, and then the rest of it is like modern take on. Maybe they even gutted it and then rebuilt it so that it looks practical for modern uses. But it's a diner built out of this like old place. So it's like late afternoon. Like there's very few people in here. It's still it's pretty sleepy. But the dinner rush will probably hit you in like an hour. So as you pull up, right, you have some time to get out and gather your thoughts.
Okay. I'll wait until we walk in. So if anybody wants to do anything outside.
Max spends a very long time looking for a good parking spot. Imagine in a town. No, this is a suburb. Suburbs are fine. I'm thinking Boston proper, where it's possible.
Oh yeah, no, this is fine. You can just park right in front of the building.
You park right.
Yeah. You park and get in. What were you gonna do when you got in there?
Well, I was just wondering because it's such an old building and it was renovated and stuff. Like you said that it's not very populated by meat space people, but how many like spirits are kind of walking around?
Oh, good question. I think there's probably in the town, like as you're driving around, you see like a couple spirits here and there, like on the street. They're just sort of like drifting around in their day-to-day life. On life. In this place, I think you get more of a presence than individuals. Like I think because it's been so long, there's just like an aura around everything. You know, like you walk into a place and like, oh, I feel the weight of history, except that you feel like there's like all of these ghosts that are like super old in here.
Yeah.
They've sort of, most of the spectral presence in here, I think, is like made a mass. So there's like a little host that kind of fades in and out around you. So like occasionally you'll just see like a wall of faces just appear against one of the walls, and they're like a combination of like tricorn hats and like faces with wigs and stuff like that. It's probably like a
Right.
mixture of the British and the separatists and such from the revolution.
Right. Okay. Does it like? I mean, you mentioned that they like kind of gutted the historical place and stuff like that. Is there any feeling of like, oh, like, is it just time, or is it also like they've done stuff to the place that makes it hard to?
I think it's both time itself congeals them, as well as having a lot of those tethers taken out or destroyed or moved.
Yeah.
So they like, as they appear, like they're not happy. And I think this place probably, as a result, you notice, as Sean would definitely notice, like things just go wrong for no good reason. Like, shoot, this mayo says it doesn't expire for another month. It just suddenly went rancid. I don't know what happened.
Right.
This like the line cook like occasionally has a problem where like the bacon gets burnt or something like that. Like a spoon falls off your table. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because so like Ushin walks in and is just like kind of shivers and is like
it doesn't feel
in
good.
a bad mood. Like clearly kind of is like yeah. That's the idea. I'm like, okay. Is our contact here?
Yeah, she has arrived. Matt gets a text as you're pulling up that's like, oh, we got her, she's inside, she's all set. And as you like walk in, I think like your some of your minions walk out and like pull their hats down and like nod and pull their sunglasses back on and get back in the car. It's like central casting NPC number 1, 2, and 3. They're like nondescript streetwear, get back in their car and drive off, right? Pull their hoods up. Yeah.
Stage ninja outfits.
Exactly.
Yes.
You come in, you walk in, and it's pretty quiet. There is a woman sitting in one of the tables. She has a little Pomeranian in her handbag, her massive oversized handbag. She herself, very noticeable, like banana yellow jacket, like floral print blouse, bright chunky statement necklace in fuchsia, leopard print chinos.
Oh my god.
Yes.
She's got like the henna dye job, red hair, and big glasses.
Oh, no.
What a
April
lunch.
O'Neil, what has time done to you?
And she looks at over and she waves. Oh, over here. Please.
Okay.
As we're settling in, I give her an appreciative look and say, "Nice fashion." I'm also still wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
She's like leans over. Oh, I love that color. What is this print? Oh my gosh, it's so fantastic, darling. It's just lovely.
Thank you. I preen.
Yeah, this is what I want. Validate me. What cover story would Mac have given for like, hey, random observer, come to this diner and talk to these people?
What I was thinking before it was revealed that was like 3 dudes is like I probably had like some face type character come and flirt with her and like take her on a lunch date, and then like once we show up, like that dude just takes off. He's like flirting and then sees us coming and just walks away.
Yeah, I think that's what happens then.
Okay.
Is like, yeah. So she's just like, is just happy to see other faces.
Ms. Mills, I believe. Ben Altamirano. I'm a documentarian. We're here making a film that documents the unusual, some might even say supernatural happenings of rural America.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
Yeah. I like to. That's what we're doing.
On the word on the street has it that you're a person with a tale to tell, and while I understand the lobster mac and cheese here is incredible, so perhaps you'll join us for a plate and share your story.
Oh, well, I did just have this wonderful talk with this lovely gentleman, Kala. It was very, very impressive. Very, very nice, very nice. Yeah, well, I suppose I could have a little chat. Well, gosh, I didn't know I was going to be on. Am I going to be on camera? Do
Oh,
I have to
not
change?
not
Do I have
right
to?
now. No, no. I mean, though you do look camera ready.
Oh, I'm always, yes. And of course, Diana, she picks up her Pomeranian. Diana's
Yes.
always ready, aren't you, darling? Yes.
But we're just rolling into town. We'll probably be here for a few days. We thought we would put our feelers out, and you seem to be the best lead that any of us can dig up.
Oh, there's a
Which
lot
is
of
not
feelers going
surprising.
out today. Wow. I'm flattered, frankly, but yes. Oh, good gosh. So you must be here to talk to people about what's been going on. There's some kind of I don't know. People are really stressed out, and I like to think I'm not a busybody. I'm not a busybody, of course. I
Of
don't I
course
don't
not.
pry my nose in other people's business, but I know everything that goes on in my building. I know
Mhm.
everything that goes on in my neighborhood. Everybody, they talk to me. They trust me. Terry, they say, you know what's going on. You know, if I need some life advice, you can always come to me and have a cup of coffee and talk and see Diana. Um,
Aw.
what
Well,
do
how does
you?
Diana look?
What do
Is
you
Diana like just constantly like skating?
yeah,
Just a
Diana's one of those
shaky
like
dog.
accessory dogs.
Yeah,
Like,
Yes.
yeah, like I'm here, I don't really know what else to do. Like maybe
yeah,
I forgot how to dog somewhere down the line.
yeah.
Aw.
Yep, yep.
Well,
So, and I'm going to be producing on this project. And do you mind giving me the names and addresses of those that you have heard that have been afflicted by this sudden onset insomnia?
Oh my gosh, it's so forward, and these people they're gonna have to sign waivers and everything.
Oh
um
yes,
Yes,
which
and
reminds
you as
me.
well. Yes.
And Ben pulls up his briefcase that he was given in the last episode, opens it and
Oh.
pulls out a both a
Yay.
non-disclosure agreement and an image use waiver, and slides them over along with the pen.
Sweet. Why don't one of you hit me with a manipulate and another with an assist?
I'll assist.
Okay.
It's gonna go well for you. The question is, what are the consequences in addition?
right.
Yeah.
Assist is cool, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And manipulate is charm.
Oh,
Oh.
nope. I don't help at all.
All the
Much
papers just go
experience.
flying.
I'm too busy making sure those forms, which we don't need, are filled out correctly. And make sure you initial here and there.
There. Oh, sorry. This is the wrong form. Like at the very.
Yeah, it takes you a second to dig them out. I
Yeah.
think while you're digging around in your briefcase for the forms, you're like, oh, yeah. The camera cuts away to something else. There is there's a couple of kids that we see off camera that are like getting ready to have a sleepover. So there's a couple of kids that are just like having fun. Their parents have just dropped them off, and they're waving goodbye in the cars. And the kids go into this house, and they've got their sleeping bags and they've got their backpacks full of stuff, and they just walk in, and they say, "Oh, this is going to be great. We're going to stay up all night. It's going to be awesome." And then we cut back to the diner.
Oh.
I imagine Ben's putting away like a I don't know what that form's called, but like, oh, we are not liable for any injury or death that you may
Right,
experience.
right. All right, so you got an 8. They'll do it only if you do something for them right now
Yeah.
to show that you mean it.
Mhm.
So she is like, I mean, I would never betray anybody's confidentiality. It's just that. So you can get a close up. You can get a close up of my Diana in the interview. Is that possible?
Yes, and Mac like starts reaching in her jacket and like pulls out a small like a small case full of business cards, and then writes a note on one. If you go, we're gonna be filming. Your section will be filming in probably a couple weeks. If you go up to New York, see my friend, he will get some wardrobe sorted out for you. On
Oh,
us.
fantastic! And of course, they won't know that I said anything.
Of course not. We can do the whole like the dark shadow and the voice thing, and yeah.
Oh my god, I loved it on Unsolved Mysteries. It was just a fantastic histories, mysteries, all that stuff. Yeah, just love it. Fantastic.
Beyond
Oh
belief,
my
fact or
gosh.
fiction.
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
Jonathan Frakes, goodness, what a
I could listen to him ask me random questions all afternoon.
Yeah.
Is Anya also into ancient alien stuff, or is that like too noob tier for her?
I feel like she watches it just to criticize it, like riff
just
track.
hate watches it.
Yeah, like
Oh my-
like does actually, you know what, she does like a riff tracks podcast of
Yes!
ancient
Gosh,
aliens.
yes.
Like a Michelin chef watching Food Network.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good.
That's so good. Yeah, so she pulls out a cocktail napkin. She starts scribbling names down. She's like, so here's. It all started a couple of weeks ago. Some people, there was some kids in the building. They were having some trouble sleeping. We don't really know what happened there, but they were just having trouble going to sleep. And then they it sort of started to spread. You know, it was almost like something going around. And then some of the poor Billy in 3G, he was having trouble, and then Meredith down in 5A, and then Lucius, Mr. Lucius, all the way on the top floor, told me over a nice cup of coffee he was having he was having these nightmares, and then they just sort of stopped. He just wasn't. He said he wasn't dreaming anymore. It was never incredible. He always remembers his dreams, very vivid, very exciting, and then all of a sudden he tells me he can't even remember a thing. I said maybe it's the new medication the doctors put you on. He said no, it feels different. I don't know. These doctors these days, they give you all kinds of pills. You don't know what you're taking. You don't know what the side effects are. So I don't know. I thought it was strange, and I wrote it down. And a nice individual came by and sort of asked me what things were happening, and I told them, and I guess they must have had contact with your studio, because here you are to investigate. And she sort of like rambles for a little bit, but she says, and I'm sure you watch all these TV shows to stay on top of your competition, what else is happening. Those shows with the conspiracies, where they do the board, they do the whole thing where they put the string up and the pictures and the pieces, and gosh, I think I've been playing a little bit at doing that myself.
Uh-huh.
Adia's just like grumpy.
And she's like, looks at everyone like really excited. She's like, there was every week the library does a story time, and the librarian, Mr. Taggett, lovely gentleman, sometimes he gets really great stories for the kids, and he reads to all the neighborhood kids, and they come out, they have a great time, they come home. And you know what? I was volunteering with the local arts and crafts studio. We were doing the paint night for the kids, and they were saying Mr. Taggett read them a story that was very scary about something that the Sandman. And then a few days after that, a lot of kids started having trouble sleeping. I think Mr. Taggart has finally gone a little too far and read something very age inappropriate to those children, and maybe he's to blame for everything that's happening. It's what do they call it? Psychosomatic, right? The kids get scared of the story, then the parents get scared because their kids are scared. They don't know what to do, and then everybody else is freaking out because everyone else is freaking out. And the next thing you know, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to total anarchy.
This is good. This is
Wow.
good. I can see it. I can see it now. Mr. Sandman, bring us a nightmare. That's how we open this. That's how we open this film.
Oh,
We'll
scary!
workshop that.
Well, we
My
want to grab
gosh.
everyone's attention at first,
Wait,
you know. We
And
have to hook them
where
in the
can we
first
find
5
Mr.
minutes.
Taggart?
Oh, he's usually at the library. He is all the time. You can, and she's goes. She pulls up her phone. She's got her phone like this far away from her face, and you hang on. You go. Oh, these apps. Okay, we're here,
Okay.
and then she's like scrolls it over, and it's over there on
Uh-huh.
3rd Street,
Yeah.
corner of 3rd and Maple.
Uh-huh.
That's the library.
Yeah.
He's usually there.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mills.
Thank you.
Oh, Terry, please.
Ah, Terry.
Okay. Cool. So I like lean over and
Thank
like,
you,
so
Terry. That'll be all.
everything?
You can go.
Okay.
You have a
We need
wonderful
to-
day.
We just need to discuss a few of the logistics and practical measures. You understand film stuff. It's terribly boring.
Oh, of course. Way out of my league. Oh, and Diane is getting a little hungry, and maybe.
Oh.
Oh, no, she's got to go out. Sorry.
Oh.
Excuse me. She like, gets up, scoops the dog up, and walks out.
All right. Well, that was helpful.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm looking at a menu and I'm just like, so what are we getting?
I mean,
Do you guys know what you're getting?
lobster mac and cheese.
Ooh, I didn't see that. Where is that?
Seafood and
there.
cheese. That's. I don't know.
It's under lobster, right underneath lobster sliders, and above lobster's Diablo. Don't know that the lobster nachos are highly rated, so
Made with real lobster.
Hmm.
well, we are in Massachusetts after all.
Yeah, but we're like kind of
Yeah,
like
but-
real inland.
I would not trust a $5.99 lobster mac and cheese.
Well, of course I'm gonna get more than one.
Yeah, it's a good value. It's a good value for the money. You don't often get lobster this cheap. It
So
used to be a peasant food, you know.
God,
God damn.
so then 10 minutes later.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be a best. Some of the spirits just groan.
Anyway,
Ugh.
it sounds like we have a few promising leads to follow up on. There's
Yeah.
Mr. Taggart at the library. We could talk to some of the victims, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd like to take a look topside. Maybe hit the roofs, see what we can find. After all, if this, according to your visions, Ashen, this creature is coming in through the windows, perhaps there's some sign of forced entry or creeping and crawling on the
Yeah.
rooftops of muddy rivers.
actually, to go with that, I wanted to use one of Adia's moves
Mm.
of Net Friends.
Ah, yes.
Ooh.
But before I do that, I think she's like been pointedly on a laptop and then has just been like looking at Varash while she's like been typing away, and she's like, I can't just turn this off. It's always on.
And I'm kind of giving you a look. Like, oh boy.
It gets stronger the more I use it.
The brain is a muscle. and I'm working out.
It's gonna be so
God.
jacked. Brain gains.
She's got some protein shake on the side.
No, she's got Soylent.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my
She
god.
does have
Yes.
Soylent. So I'm hoping that allows me to get a +1 on this next one.
Yep.
So I wanted to use Net Friends to see if she could get her friends on the forum to hack, like, if there are cameras around the city, and see if
Oh,
she
that's
can,
good. Yeah.
like, get some video feeds of, like, things that have happened in the past, and then also what's currently happening. So let's see if she actually
Hit me with that charm roll.
manages it. Yes.
What is your charm, out of curiosity?
It is 0.
Okay.
Flat 2d6 roll.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Adia not charming? What?
What?
Oh,
There you go.
Ooh.
hell yeah.
All right. So,
Okay.
on
That
a-
brings it up to a 10, does it not? Because you
Oh,
get
yeah,
+1
yeah.
for contrary.
Ooh, that's right. I forgot to add that. Yes. Thank goodness.
Nice.
Yes, so then they are available and helpful, and they do what I need them to do. Thank goodness.
All right, so you're like asking around on the forums, like, "Hey, can you get me in here?"
Mhm.
I think we've established him already. I think we have to bring him back.
Yes.
Snow
Oh, so
Problem
glad.
pings
No
you.
problem.
Yes.
We cut up to Vermont, where like Charlie is in his Mr. Winters is in his like apartment that has like all of these cryptid memorabilia everywhere, and like Mothman
Yes.
poster.
Yeah.
But like an uwu Mothman.
Billy,
Mothman's on
please.
a pillow.
Oh, Billy is so
Uh,
perfect.
It's like an I want to believe poster, but it's scrawled out and it says I need to believe.
Oh my god.
And like we're getting this establishing shot of like as we cut away from the diner to like this whole place. We know, the viewer knows where this is. We finally get over to a dimly lit room that is like the light of the computer, this massive battle station with like 3 monitors
Yeah.
and like crushed
Yes.
monster cans,
Oh my
and
God.
like a little ping pops up in the corner, and it's Snow Problem leans over like, oh my god, she wrote back. Okay, what hey, what do you need? Question mark, smiley face. Like, can you get me into these systems? Like, I'm on it. Like, just leave it to me. I won't let you down.
I love
And
the
then just, like, a
idea. Oh, sorry.
Furious keyboard montage. Go ahead.
I said I love the idea that above that you just see that he has messaged Adia, but she's never messaged back. It's just like, like, hey, how's it going? Okay, well, this is what I did today.
This is like the first time that it's come up. It's like, okay. And so he's just like hacking into the Matrix effectively. And you get a message back that says, I'm in, sunglasses emoji.
Yes.
Snow Problem wants to airdrop you a file.
Nice.
Yeah, Adia, like, accepts, and then, like, in parentheses, she writes, I am also wearing sunglasses.
Nice.
He like stares back at the monitor like, so cool.
I love it.
I think as we prepare to fade to our break, we get a shot of the of the video footage that all of you can take a look at before we go off to investigate. So I think it comes up on your laptop, and the camera goes into the laptop until it becomes the shot. You know, it refocuses. And it's a series of these black and white traffic cameras. There's boring streets. Car drives by. It's late. Car drives by. New street. Someone's walking their dog. Maybe it's Terry.
Yes.
We cut back to that first street. The window is open, and something that most would sort of say as a shadow is moving. People obviously don't look at these; they don't care unless there's like an accident or something like that. Something reaches out, and a long-limbed figure with an umbrella strapped across his back, like a parasol, like a long parasol with the strapped across his back in a satchel, has lifted up the window. He crawls into the home. Time passes, and then that same shadowy figure a few minutes later comes out with something like twinkling in its hands and puts it into one of its many pouches that are hanging off of its belt. And we sort of see this, it looks like a humanoid face with two white dotted, like the way that cats look when you take a picture of them, those two white dotted eyes. Its long arms pull itself out, and it unslings the umbrella and thump, pops it open and thrusts it outwards, and it, like the way a paper airplane flies, just sails gently out of frame. And then there's a few more cameras of like, here's a rooftop camera or something, and that figure is, it lands on a roof and crawls down. It comes back up. It sails to another house. It crawls around. It sails to another house, and it crawls around. And the last thing is like, I think a close-up shot of like one of those other streets, and there's nothing in the shadows, and then two eyes appear in the darkness of an alleyway, and then it goes to static. And that's where we're going to go to break.
Nice.
So, as we go to break, we do have a few things that we want to remind you of. First of all, thank you for joining us up to this point. We will be back in about 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. I mean, go do a bio break and get water and whatever.
Don't
But
stay anywhere.
Come back. Keep the stream up. We want to thank our $10 Patreon sponsors. These people are extremely generous and help keep the lights on and make everything we do that much better. So in particular, we want to shout out some people who were on a list that was just over here and it's no longer there. Jack C, Donald G, Nerdy T, Michelle E, Abigator, and Nino, and Andy T. Thank you so much for joining the VIP circle and making sure that we can do more shows like this. Also, if you're looking for something to do during this trying time and you want to play some games with friends, go check out Roll20. Go to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Sign up for a free account. Maybe play around with it during the break and then come back. We will see you momentarily.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to ruinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today.
need the
on that
hashtag.
note, welcome back. Oh, please tell me that's in the web captioner. Hell
It
yes.
It is.
Oh, welcome back to Unnatural Disasters. If you have a suggestion for a good and catchy hashtag for us to use, please let us know. DM me or tweet at me. I don't know. Put it in the chat.
We
Put
were
it on the
looking
Discord.
at
Wherever fine podcasts are sold. With I need a moment to mentally recover.
Sorry.
It's so good.
you see, we
Uh,
were looking at hashtags and what PCRI was, and we found out
Right.
there's a real one, which is why Vididia's web captioner says Prostate Cancer Research Institute.
Yes.
Okay.
It's great because no one heard it,
Real
so
heroes.
it was just
It's
there.
just there. It's waiting for you like
Here
a
we
little
are.
Easter egg. Yeah, I think so. Let's cut to from the eatery. I think you probably have some like to-go boxes on your respective missions. One group is going to talk to
God, I
bad
forgot
sleep
his name.
people.
Yes.
One group is going to talk to the librarian, and one group is going to do something else.
Gonna ride on some sweet motorcycles.
Yeah, just get shredding.
Next
Wait,
episode,
can I-
Mac doesn't bring car. Mac just gets a whole bunch of hogs.
Can I roll tune in?
Yes, that's what we wanted to do as well.
That's what it was.
So
Because
you
I
wanna
might.
open your mind to the monster.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I'm like watching, like Ushin's like watching the video, and is like, huh, and then like we'll roll for it to see like I thought so. Ooh,
Ooh.
How intense is this going to be?
I failed
Ooh.
finally.
All right.
Devil.
Your reign
No.
is over.
Let's see.
Here we go.
If Roll20 wants to.
Actually, I'm really happy about this because the other way around is really fun as well.
They're both good. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is a very good move. So on tune in on a miss, the monster becomes aware of you.
I think like if I can propose, like I think you know that last shot of like just the eyes kind of staring back at the camera.
Yeah.
Like the camera is like Ushin's looking at it, like watching all the footage, and like maybe there's like you can kind of see weird magical gears turning, and then it looks at the camera and it looks at me, and then I'm like, and then it like looks at me, and Ushin's like,
Yeah. Like in the footage,
Ah.
it knows. Even in the past, it knows it's being watched.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Creepy.
That is absolutely what happens.
I like whisper, it saw me.
And I'm going to make a move as well in response. In addition to that, so the not only does it know you, but the evening has been passing along. I think it's been like an hour or so. So it's like maybe 6 o'clock, where the kids are in that sleepover, and there's like pizza boxes and stuff out, and they're just having a grand old time. And underneath, as the kids are in one of the host's bedroom, so they get up and they go. They're like, oh, let's go get the put on the Netflix, and they go like running down the stairs to the living room, and the camera stays stationary in that room as the light has been flicked off, and in the dim sunset light, a long shadowed hand moves from under the bed out and like grabs at the pizza box.
Ugh. I don't like it.
That's
Yeah.
not cool. That's not cool at all.
Leave the
Those
pizza
kids were gonna
alone.
eat that pizza. There was nothing in the content warning about harm coming to pizzas.
That's true. That's serious business.
Not the
So
pizza.
who's going where?
Ew. We had
I'm not going with Adya. Because I look at her and I say, I think you remember, and I just do a little tap tap. No.
Dragon scorned.
Oh
She
my
can
gosh.
take care of herself. She doesn't need me.
Ooh.
I would like to trust my gut and see which of these options is either best or worst for Mac.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Trust
Oh,
your gut
as
is
a
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right, there's moves.
Just
guy.
monologuing.
Let me ask,
The
what do you
alternate
think, gut?
move that we took,
Trust
or
yourself.
that some people could take, because we're using the
Well,
Tome of Weirdness, Tome of Mystery.
I got a 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
You got a
Uh,
6.
so on a miss,
Ooh.
your instincts lead you into danger.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, the
Nice.
irony of us talking about this.
Let's see.
XP.
Yes, you get it. You definitely get XP. I think you decide to go. You know what? Follow your heart.
And I don't make
Oh,
rules to make my own
no.
decisions. Library.
They both seem very useful places to investigate.
I'll go to the library. The library. There's always trouble at the library.
True. Okay.
I think Adya goes with Mac. There,
Okay.
there are books to read in there.
I'm just like
Adya's just a big old nerd. Just gonna...
Library, you said? You have your library card on one of those, like...
Yeah.
like a Rolodex card of library cards.
Get
keychain
one
of
in
library
every city you
cards.
travel to.
That is not too far from me personally. I have 3 different library cards for LA, and I tried to get
Whoa.
I tried to get one for New York and San Fran when I went.
That's so great. You collect magnets. I collect library cards.
That's
You need
so
them if
good.
you want to be on Livy and Hoopla. You can't just have
Yes.
one because nobody does both. Like, which is
No, you
bullshit.
gotta. Yeah.
I do it for the ebooks.
So we got library, and then we also got victims, right?
Yeah.
And Ben wanted to go check out rooftops and
Oh,
play
Oh,
for
that's the
around,
thing that you're gonna do.
safe
Yeah.
and sound.
Yep, safe.
I'll probably go rooftops. I'm like spooked.
Which means that Virash is going to talk to the victims.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is gonna work
I can
out
do that.
beautifully.
Oh, this is
That'll be
great.
great.
All right, so let's do it this way. I think the first thing is let's go to the library first, unless you need a minute.
I'm good.
ready.
Let's go to the library. You pull up to the library. So this is a little bit around the corner from where you are. It's not super far. You're sort of like driving along the winding roads, and the library is like a nice, like, this is where a lot of money went clearly in this town. You've been doing a little research. There's like people that work at in like biotech in the city, but they live out here, and this is where they want to raise their kids. So it's very important. Education is tantamount to this community. And so a lot of money went into making this place look nice. It's got like glass and like old marble, like historical and modern coming together. Inside, I think it's like getting close to closing time for these for this place. But walking in, like, there's like old statues in the front, the help desk, and I think like a young person behind the counter who's just sort of like filing things away, like trying to get their last of their little library work done. What do you do?
What was the person's name again for this
Uh,
contract?
Mr. Taggart.
Taggart, okay. Forgot to write
Uh, Rue, can I ask again? Remind me again. How old is Adia, or how old does she appear at least?
that. She is like 21, I think. Yeah, 21. I think she appears kind of young for her age. Yeah.
Still, I don't think I could pull off. My daughter would like a library card.
I feel
Yeah,
like
we just.
I almost think that maybe you suggest that and you're like, that wouldn't work. And then Adia's just like, I don't see why not, and tries it anyway. And
You are following my advice.
and walks up to the library and is like, this is my mom. I need a library card.
Oh,
Snap.
well, sure. It's a
Then she
it's a little late. I can get you started on the process.
she just turns around and gives Mac a thumbs up.
Good job, honey.
Well, if you're gonna do that, listen, I can try and I've got something to figure out. But she wheels around in the chair and goes, "Hey, Connor, can you come over?" And waves over. He's a like 20s ish, late 20s, I want to say. Bit of scruff, white, kind of dark brownish blonde hair, sweater vest. And he's like carrying a stack of books and puts them over and stands over by the desk. Oh, hi. And she goes, yeah, Connor will help you. And goes back to typing. And he leans up and says, oh, you need a library card?
Mhm.
Oh, great. Well, any particular interests you've got, so I can show you. You seem new around town. I can show you all kinds of great stuff that we've got. Whatever your interests are, I'm sure we can find something that you're will keep your interest.
I like mysteries.
Oh, mysteries! Wow, cool. Me too, actually. Can't get enough of this stuff. I can show you over to where the mystery section is. He's like filling in a couple of details in this piece of paper and looking at both of you.
I think Adia is like, yeah, please show me where the mystery section is.
Sure.
Like
And
she's-
so he leads you through the library, the two of you. So well, it's closing
Me and my
down, so you can't see, right? But I'm sure both you and your daughter will have lots of great memories to be made here. If you're new, do you have younger kids? Is it just you?
Oh, just the one.
Oh, well, it's a shame because he walks by and there's like a little
I'm sorry, it's a
amphitheater
shame.
area.
That's an interesting choice of phrase.
Oh, I only meant because he's gesturing at this part of the library with a lowered, like a stage where the carpet goes down the stairs and stuff. And there's a chair and like a little reading nook. He goes, oh, only because there's a story time and just everyone loves it. I like to pick out some of the different things to keep people busy and keep the kids happy. So I mean, I don't know, you're never too old to hear a great story.
Well, we did meet someone here, and we had recommended the library. Said that there was readings going on all the time. Said there was a what was his name? What was his name
Mr.
again?
Taggart, I would like to hear a story from him.
Oh, that's me. Well, I've got all kinds of stories. And he leads as he stops walking to the mysteries and like walks down into the reading pit. He flips over like, well, we've been on a string for kids for a while with these. Mr. Elephant goes to the zoo. The colonial elephant travels to a colonized country.
Wow.
Unnaturally large dog disrupts family life. All kinds of great classics for kids. But yeah, and of course it's a little unconventional, but we did do some traditional fairy tales for kids as well a couple of weeks ago. I think that went over really well.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she said her daughter was here and that they heard some story about the Sandman.
Oh wow, yeah, that was an interesting one. I was sort of flipping through. I thought it might be a little too scary for the kids, but it seemed to go over pretty well. Did you know that in the original myth, the Sandman actually travels from house to house, and sometimes he takes dreams from bad kids, but not all bad kids. And if you're really bad, he takes your eyeballs.
Huh?
Oh. Why does he
Well,
take?
honey, see, all the more reason to eat your green bell peppers.
I think we cut briefly over to Virash.
His
Who
eyeballs ripped out.
is-
Gotta
Well, I
keep
think
your
Virash is
eyeballs.
like-
Bell pepper off a pizza.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, that's great.
There's
Call it 8 apples.
Virash is knocking on an apartment door in Miss Mill's building, and someone from inside goes, "Who is it?"
Yes, I'm here for the interview.
Interview. Are
Yes,
you the person that Terry was telling me about?
of course. I'm here with and we get like a Homer Simpson like zoom in on her forehead, and it goes, Duluth Mining Company. um, the documentary interview.
Okay.
Duluth documentary.
Yes.
It's open.
Oh,
The door.
she opens it, heads on in.
Okay. This is an apartment that hasn't been. It looks like it's usually kept up pretty well, but there's just like food, kind of like left around, some drinks. And there's a person wearing sunglasses, lying on the couch under a blanket, and turns over to you and says, "Oh, don't worry about locking it. I've been leaving it open. This building's perfectly safe, and I have some friends that come by and bring food."
Of course. Well, thank you for agreeing to see me, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone's story can be told with what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I'd like to get to the bottom of this myself. Well,
I settle into a sofa, and there's like a creak.
well, what can I tell you that maybe you don't already know? I guess Terry likes to talk.
She has filled us in, but I admit I was paying a lot of attention to the diner menu, so you know what? Just take it from the top.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That lobster mac is to die for.
I know, I had 3 of them.
Whoa!
You might just die.
you might. You might could die. So they sit up and adjust themselves and pull the blanket down sort of over their lap. Well, I'm 22. I live by myself. My name is Martin, and I've ever since I moved out here, everything seemed fine. I've been able to keep up with my work, and well, something happened a couple weeks ago. I don't really know what, but I started having these nightmares. I was just really anxious about everything, and work's been a little tough, but
Of course.
then I just sort of stopped. Do you know, like, do you ever just wake up without remembering any of your dreams?
You know, I can relate to that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you sleep and you know that time has passed, but it feels like nothing's gone by, and it's like everything's different. I don't know. Well, after that, I started having bad dreams, and then those stopped. And then I I don't know, maybe it's silly. I thought being in my bedroom was a little cramped. It didn't feel right.
Hmm.
I've been sleeping out here, and one day I woke up and I couldn't see.
Oh
And they
my.
tap at the sunglasses.
Well, of course we'll have makeup and whatever you need available for the filming when we actually do this. Do you mind if I take a look?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's a little messy right now, I'm sure, because I haven't been in there to clean it up. I haven't just mostly been having my friends come by and bring me some takeout every now and again.
No, I meant your and I like make a little tap tap sound on the
Oh,
glasses.
sure. I think that's okay.
Right, just to see what we'll be working with. And I pull the glasses off of them.
Okay. You pull the glasses off. Um, Whatever the viewer might be expecting is not what you actually say. um, their eyes have gone just completely like white, like ghostly white. Um, Not even there's not even a sign of a pupil. It's just like the eyeball
Mm-hmm.
unfilled in. You know, like when you draw a circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and when they like clearly they must be looking around or trying to, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing is moving.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yes. Well, I think we can do whatever you would feel most comfortable with for the film. And I put the glasses back on.
Yeah, I think I'd be more comfortable with that.
Do you remember anything about those nightmares in particular?
Oh, they were
Sometimes things can be related.
it's just bad. Some of the all all kinds of things that I have. This is confidential, right?
Of course, yes. I'll just be taking some notes. But this is for my own knowledge. This won't get passed on without you signing anything.
Okay. I've um I've been working with a therapist to get over some things. And everybody thinks I think has their own problems. Anyway, I've been doing really well. My therapist says so as well, and all of a sudden it just all came back. It was like every coping strategy that I'd had just left. I couldn't focus. I'd find myself just having panic attacks in the middle of the day, and then at night they would just flood me. It's just image after image of things that I have been trying to get better about. And then they stopped, and that was nice. But then I just couldn't sleep. I'd stare at the ceiling for hours and hours and watch the clock tick by. And then I decided to be out here for some air.
Has that helped any?
Not really. I
I'm sorry to hear that.
feel a little better out here at least. Doesn't feel as stifling.
Yeah. Well, that does sound nice. I hope your sleep continues to improve.
Thanks. Hey, would you mind closing the window in the other room? There's a bit of a draft.
Of course. Wouldn't want that. And I head over.
Okay. You walk into the other room. It's a bedroom. The bed is made. It has not been slept in for a while, clearly. It's just a nice, simple bedroom. But it's evening, so it's like 7 o'clock. The sun has gone down. And the light is off in here, but the window is cracked a little bit, so there's a bit of a breeze. And the curtain is billowing.
Nice. Go up to the window to shut it.
Okay. You shut it, and you hear something. And what I mean is like Virash hears something that other people wouldn't. Virash, I think, has like these draconic senses. Something moves behind you.
Nice. I guess I will whip out with my tail and try and hit it. That
The
seems like something
tail-
I would do.
Your tail connects with something, which like goes and pulls back and like pulls back from you. And as you turn from under the bed, dozens of these shadowy arms have crawled out and they start like clawing at the air and they fly out to grab you. And that
Nice.
is where we cut to the rooftops.
Yes.
Um,
Aha.
so the two, Ashan and Ben, are on the roof.
Yeah.
Um,
Asha's definitely like shivering and is unhappy. Is like nervous and kind of like looking over their shoulder a lot. Yeah.
What are you nervous about?
Listen, I think it knows we're here. It knows I'm here.
Well,
it-
that's not unusual for us. We're taking on these supernatural creatures, and they've always got the edge. That's why we have to rely on each other, our teamwork, and our brains to try and outwit them.
yeah. I mean, you always got my back. I guess it's just weird because you know usually I see things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to know that something sees me back.
For it to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time that sort of thing's happened, is it? Here, look over there. What do you make of those claw marks? You've always had some kind of presence with you.
Yeah. I'll like take a look at it. Are there any ghosts around? Just out of
on
like,
the
I don't know if they'll
roof.
help or not, but
Yeah. I don't think there's any ghosts up on the roofs.
sure.
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
Ben gets out the flashlight and, starts looking around for any signs of like the creature, which I guess
Mhm.
now we believe is the Sandman.
Yeah.
Creeping around looking for like bits of sand, footprints, any disturbances, that sort of thing.
Why don't one of you investigate and another one help out?
I was thinking. Wait, what is?
Unless you
it's
have
sharp?
another move that you're trying to make.
No, I was gonna say investigate.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
that
sharp.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Do you want to take point or assist on this one?
I got a pretty good sharp, if you don't, so I could take point.
I also do.
You
Then
could
how
both
does-
investigate independently.
Let's do that.
Oh,
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just
Done.
okay, yeah.
it's usually one of you will set the other one up. Yeah.
Uh,
But having you both roll is time for drama to happen.
Ooh.
Let's have that drama happen. Well, we
Alright.
both did all right.
Yeah.
We both did okay.
So you both have one hold. So I think you're looking at there's like claw marks along the rooftop, and as Ben is looking around, there's like a powdery residue, just like a gently. When you get your light on it, you can sort of see it. It's like fading, but there's a little bit of it trailing around on the roof.
I think like I want to know. I'm still like really skittish and more curious about like its location. So I want to know where it's gone.
Mm.
Like how fresh is it? Can I tell kind of what's its trajectory was or whatever?
I think the roof that you're on, it was here like last night. Like these are
Okay.
very fresh gouges.
Mm-hmm.
and judging by the freshness of the powder, you get the sense of like whatever, if this is the Sandman, whatever he is or whatever it is,
Yeah.
the sand or whatever it leaves behind would like dissolve immediately.
Ooh.
So it's like it's been or like fairly quickly. So it's been
Mhm.
here in the last 24 hours.
While we have some of the sand, I think Ben kind of is examining it carefully, and I'd like to find out what can it do.
Mm.
Ooh.
So I think you're cross-referencing your previous research on these things along with what you know, um, and you get the sense that as you like are rubbing it in your fingers, you start to feel a little woozy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not that bad because it's stagnated over time, but this appears to be his sand. Um, it seems like he can make people fall asleep by blowing into it. You already know that he can fly
Right.
somehow. Um, and common myth and your understanding, if both of you are all sort of like texting back and forth, is that the Sandman can like take your dreams away. Obviously, something is connected there with like sight. So maybe you would also remember the classic myth that there is like a variant in, I think it's German mythology or Slavic mythology, that's like
Mm-hmm.
the Sandman will take the eyes of bad children, um, and will just sort of like, if you're good, leave you nice dreams and sprinkle those in your eyes. But if you're a bad kid, then he'll take your eyes away. So
Ooh.
you're not sure where he falls in that whole dichotomy, but he can it's probably safe to say that he can like take your vision somehow, and that's connected to leeching the dreams away.
Interesting.
I'm like, are you? What are you getting out of this?
It looks like it can leave people dreamless or sightless, put them to sleep if need be. This is going to be a tricky one. I'm going to hit the armory up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Keep
I'll
up
see
the
where.
investigation. Radio in if you encounter anything.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll keep my eyes open.
See if you can figure out what it's weak against.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
After all, the Sandman is one monster we don't want to sleep on. I'll be back.
I think you do that, and then it just cuts to Sean who like looks at you and just kind of looks away and then looks back like, okay.
Hangs on that shot for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you take them off?
Why did you take it off?
Yeah, so you're up on the roof. Ben goes
Mhm.
to the armory. In the library, I think you've been chatting a little bit, and Connor has like led you to the mysteries and then back to the main lobby. And he's like, "Oh, it's closing time, but I think we have everything we need for the application, so we'll get it off to you as soon as possible, and you'll be good to go."
You know, thinking about it, that story you read about the Sandman, that seems an odd choice, considering everything that was going on. That happened a little bit before, right? Awful coincidence.
Oh, I don't believe in coincidences. I mean, I think things happen all the time. I just was flipping through books and I thought it might be something kind of to shake things up a little bit, just to change of pace.
So,
Adya
without
has a
coincidence,
suspicious mind.
Yes, I do. I was gonna say, what does
without
she pick
coincidence,
up
all we're
on?
left is causality.
I would like you to act under pressure.
Wait, me?
Normally, you know whenever anyone is lying to you. When this guy talks, people listen. And like he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry. Like, hey, why don't you take the rest of the night off?" To the other intern. Like, "I'll lock up. That's fine. You can leave early." And she just goes. And he talking to him, there's like a wall.
Oh. I think before she does the act under pressure, she just kind of like leans back to Mac or wherever Mac is, and is like, I can't get a read on this person. That's never happened before. I can always tell when people are lying, but it's like there's nothing there.
You know what? Let's see where he goes after work.
And then you wanted me to do an act under pressure?
Act under pressure,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Just gotta remember. Okay, cool. Ew.
You'll get something useful out of this. The question is just how badly the consequences are.
Do I still have that +1? I don't know if it's still...
Yeah, I think it
okay.
still applies.
Okay.
You're not acting on instinct. You're like, right? You get that carryover from not
Yeah.
taking Rosh's advice.
I think I'm still, being thoughtful and reasonable about my decisions.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Instinct is shoot the dude.
She hasn't learned that lesson from Mac yet.
Yeah.
Done first.
Ooh.
Okay. He's absolutely lying. And like you feel like he's actively trying to get you to not follow up anymore. Like, oh, it's nothing. You get the sense that this works on everyone else
Oh. Slimy.
around town. Yeah.
Okay.
And he like squints for a second while you're trying to size him up. Well, yeah, it's just a fun story. I don't know. A couple parents complained, said it was like a little too scary. I don't know. I think people could stand to be a little more open-minded these days. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was understandable that they would want to protect their kids. Wouldn't want to expose them to that kind of stuff.
Oh, come on. It's not like I put in front of an R-rated movie.
I've read some of those fairy tales. Some of those aren't exactly PG. Let's be honest.
Well, we kept all the really bad stuff away from the kids. It's more of, aren't these things all morals anyway? They're just sort of like ways to scare kids into proper behavior, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but some of those morals don't really apply anymore.
Is that what you were going for with that book? Trying to teach some morals?
That's a very pointed question. Your
You've-
daughter is very inquisitive.
She's a sharp one.
I only bring it up because you said that fairy tales teach morals. That sounds like a good thing. So were you trying to teach them something?
He looks at you for a long second, like a very, like, a pregnant pause. He goes, "Where did you say you moved here from?"
Is there anybody else in this library?
No.
Oh yeah, this is done. This is fuck this. Jack pulls the shotgun out.
Yes.
Before that happens, I think Adia starts to move to the side because I think she gets the sense of where this is going. So she gets out of the way, and then she's like, you know, a lot of people lie, and lying's not always a bad thing. Well, sometimes when people lie for bad reasons, bad things happen to them. And then she moves to the side.
Awesome.
And like takes a step, like maybe you're standing in front of Mac, and you like step off to the side, and then there's Mac unslinging the shotgun.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, good.
Honey, can you go ahead and lock that front door for us?
On it.
All right.
She just like skips off.
Oh yeah.
Library's closed.
It's about to get real, y'all.
There's a new librarian in town.
Uh,
So we see the shotgun come up as Virash lashes into combat with this shadow monster coming out from under the bed.
Sweet.
I think you kick some ass.
All right, I would love to. I'm gonna try and just get a big mouthful of this shadow and see
Ooh.
how it holds up against my teeth.
Hell yeah.
Please tell us what shadow tastes like.
Yeah, I gotta find out, right? So what is my roll? Oh yes, an 11.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, so
Nice.
you do it.
Yes, these rolls.
So you trade blows with that thing, and you get an extra effect.
Okie dokie. Let me actually go look up the.
Yeah, it's get the advantage and get +1 forward, inflict terrible harm, suffer less harm, or force them where you want them.
I'm gonna say I suffer less harm, I think.
Okay. The horribly long arms like lash out, and I think like they clearly adjust their length in real time to match you as you're grabbing them. So they grab you, and a bunch of them like start slashing at you as you're like trying to sink your teeth into their arms, right? They go your fangs go right into it in a way that this thing was not expecting to be hurt. And
armor
it has
piercing.
this like screech.
Oh.
It pulls the rest of its weight, swinging from underneath the bed until it is this amorphous ball of shadow and arms, and there is like this impossible mouth somewhere
Yeah.
in its belly body form, and it is like wrestling with you and trying to force its body like forward onto you and try and like lash back at you.
Awesome.
So take 1 harm from its claws.
Good
they-
plan, me.
They grab you, and it is trying to like swallow you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I don't think my negotiator skill is going to help at this point. I think the negotiation point has been passed.
You can try. There's nothing saying you can't.
It's true.
Whoa, let's take a step back.
Hey, buddy, come on! I'm all skin and bones.
Those kids look way tastier.
Yes.
All right, we took a bite out of each other. Now let's.
Look,
Yeah.
take a bite out of this pizza instead. It's got
I
pineapple.
want to take a bite of this pizza. I think instead I will pull my sword out and try to get that into the mouth.
Okay. I think that is still kicking some ass.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little tricky because it's like wrapping it's trying to restrain you
Right.
with its
for
many
sure.
hands. While you're doing that, I think Ashan is like looking around, and we get a shot of Ashan from the front, and a silent long figure descends on an umbrella like so much Mary Poppins, just
Yeah.
and lands behind Ashan. And there's a close-up of like here's Ashan at the bottom of the camera, the face with the 2 eyes and this horrible grin spreading across its face that says, "I hear you've been looking for me."
Oh.
Ashan like whips around and kind of like has a hand on their like sword shard, like broken sword. But first he'll be like, I was, yeah, and like is trying to keep a distance, but doesn't like, is like, who are you?
I'm the Sandman.
And why are you terrorizing this town?
I'm not terrorizing anything. I'm just here to collect on some outstanding debts. Would you believe how many bad people there are here? I'm just here to take their dreams away. They're not using them.
I mean, you're causing a lot of pain and distress, and you've taken people's eyesight. This isn't. You should probably get out of here.
Have I made things worse for people, or have I just eased their suffering?
I don't think that's up to you to decide. And then Ashan's gonna quickly whip out the sword and try and restrain it with some magic. Is gonna try and hold it in place.
Okay.
Your broken sword.
How much harm does Varash's sword do?
It does 3 harm, hand heavy.
Sweet. And you got an 11?
No, I didn't roll that one yet. I was
Oh, go ahead
wondering, since we're straining against each other with strength, can I roll with my no limits move?
Yes.
Sweet.
That would be great.
I am pushing my body past its limits as I'm pulling the sword out with all of the arms grabbing onto my arm. You think you can hold me back?
Oh
Yeah.
And I got a 7. Thank God for that +3, because I rolled a pair of 2s.
Whoa. Wow.
Okay. So for no limits on a 7, you do it, but choose a consequence. Suffer a harm, take -1 forward, or you need to rest right now.
I'll take a -1 forward, I think.
Okay.
That makes sense that I'm well, I just handed it my sword into its mouth. I hope that helps.
Yeah, you jam it in, and this thing splits in half and as it falls apart, and its body fades into the shadows of the room.
Okay.
And I'm casting around for it, get back here.
Yeah. And you were using magic.
Yeah, I
for Ashan?
rolled a 6.
Okay.
Yes.
So we were trying to contain him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Buy myself some time.
Yeah, I think you're casting this energy through your broken sword,
Mm-hmm.
and he just reaches out and gently pushes it down. And goes, "Oh no, child,
Oh.
not now. I have bigger things to attend to." And he blows a fistful of dust in your face. If you want to stay awake and not fall asleep, I need you to act under pressure, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
yikes.
In the library, the shotgun blast goes off right into this guy. Right? How much harm does that shotgun blast do?
3.
3.
And it's messy.
Okay. It blasts him backwards and sends him barreling over the counter. And nothing happens. There's just smoke. What do you do?
Fuck.
That was good. He deserved that.
Max starts making her way over to the reading nook
Uh-huh.
and tries to find any fairy tale books that kind of seem like they might have this Sandman story in it.
And does Adia also go, or
I think
Just, stands there?
Adia goes to where Taggart landed to see what happened.
Okay, so you come around the corner, and there is nothing there. There's just a blood splatter, and he's not there. And then he appears
oh no!
behind you.
Oh no!
And we see in his camera angle his chest has been blasted with the shotgun, so
Oh.
the shirt is torn, but he has these glowing tattoos that look like star charts all over his chest. So he clearly was not impervious to that. but like his wounds are like sort of knitting themselves together.
Ooh.
And he has this knife in his hands. It is made of this strange material. It is dark. It seems to almost absorb light. If you didn't know any better, and you absolutely do because you're the Flake, you would think it was made of the minerals that you saw in the mine.
Oh.
And he takes a few steps towards you and goes, "You shouldn't have done that."
Adia's just like, I didn't.
Oh, oh dang.
Oh my god.
Is
Really
he? Does it look like he's aiming to hit me with the knife?
Yeah, he's gonna go like just swing it at you.
I think Adia, she has her baseball bat out, but she doesn't do anything with it yet, and she's like, "What are you waiting for?"
Mysteries, huh? Let's see how they solve this one. And I carve you up. And he flips the knife around and goes for whoosh, 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 to try and cut you. If you're fighting back, I think that's kicking ass.
Okay, yeah. What I want Adia to do is to try to catch the knife in her baseball bat so that it gets stuck in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that still kicks some ass, but
Yeah.
cool. That is, oh no, tough. My worst stats.
Always fun.
Does this
Believe in
still
you.
technically count under contrary? She's trying to work this out.
You definitely didn't
I
act on
think so.
instinct
Yeah,
there,
you've like,
for sure.
yeah, I think you still get the +1.
Okay. she's trying to gather evidence.
I did basically try to tell you to act like the opposite of yourself. So
Don't be like Adia, be like Varash.
yeah. It
Oh
works out
boy.
great for Viraj.
Well,
Yeah.
that was
Oh boy.
that -1.
This is rough.
Okay.
And you
I
lucky
think.
to spend.
Oh yeah, you can spend a point of luck to turn that into a 12 if you want.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that because I really want to get that knife from him.
Okay.
Get that knife.
You don't want to get stabbed, is what you meant, right?
Yeah.
I
Priorities.
You spend a point of luck, and you like he swings, and you crack him in across the face, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
When you spend a point of luck, pick an aspect of the current situation, and I will tell you what other
Ooh.
conspiracies this aspect connects to.
Oh, I forgot about that. I guess I want to know more about the deal with this knife and what its connection to the other mystery is.
Yeah, so you're fighting with him, and he's like trying to swing. You're dodging and like smack. I think you're like piecing things together in your mind. So the knife is made of this mineral. This mineral was in a dig site for Superior Mining Company. There's probably someone at Superior is probably aware of this stuff. And even if the foreman didn't know what he was getting into, you're pretty sure somebody is pulling the strings and made that cave-in happen. Not on purpose, like we didn't want to kill the people, but we wanted that stuff out. And it's going to whoever this guy is connected to. The knife itself seems to absorb all of the light that is coming out of it. When it gets close to you, I think like it grazes like up against like your arm. And as it like brushes against you, there's like a flash of like just intense anxiety. And not because you're in a fight, but like, like you feel like you're falling for a second. There's just like this horrible pit in your stomach. And as he swings it, like it seems almost like that knife is cutting through the atmosphere itself. In addition, your brain is going like, okay, or fate and event. He's got star tattoos. This has to be connected.
Right.
I'd like to spend one of my hold to appear on the scene prepared and ready.
Okay.
Oh my
As
god, that's
stated-
amazing.
As stated before, I went back to go to the armory and check out the field kit stuff. So I would like to have consulted the mystical library that we have, thanks to the Dairy Queen incident, and I would like to use magic. I would like to be prepared to use magic to unbind whatever those glowing tattoo protections are.
Ooh, good. Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
All right.
And I think because the door is locked, I think Ben like dives through the window, maybe.
Yes.
I believe so. I
And your
think like
form
there's
is
a
perfect.
window that just like breaks as Ben comes rolling in. There's an 11.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You've done it.
So I don't even have a glitch. Yeah.
Yeah, it just shoot. You do what you want.
I would like to. Yeah, we'll say banish. I guess this is like banishing the magic from the thing, the person it inhabits. So Ben comes rolling in, holding one of the tomes from the mystical library. Like looks up, sees the tattoos, and quickly like incant something in ancient Sumerian, and holds a hand out with a pouch full of dust and just tosses it at the guy, and the glow on the tattoos maybe fades.
Yeah, and he looks down like, that's interesting. For Ashan, I think the difficult choice you have to make is the dust gets in your face and like you go, whoa, whoa, and you like fall to a knee.
Uh-huh.
You're still awake, but it takes you a second to get your breath. You have the choice to either run after the Sandman, who is like doing his weird like paper floaty thing across the rooftops, because you can see where he's going, or I think you have like proximity danger alarms or something on your phones that like maybe are tied to smartwatches. So like when someone's heart rate goes up, it tells you that they're in danger. So you can either get to the library or chase after the Sandman.
Sandman.
Oh god. Yeah, I probably want to chase after the. Well, okay. Can I tune in to the Sandman?
I think you can do it again.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I think across on the building across the way from you, you see like the glint of heavy steel and like shunk. And you see Virash in the window of one of the apartments across from you.
Yeah, I think like Ashan's definitely gonna try and get like is gonna like try and find somebody else. Like it's like I can't take this thing on my own.
Yeah.
But I like to try and tune into it to not entirely lose it. So I'll roll the weird. This is not Ashan's day.
Used up all your luck last time.
Yeah.
So it is flitting away, and in your mind, now that it knows where you are and it knows that you know, he says, "Oh, you want to follow? All right, we can play.
Ooh.
Come find me. It'll be fun. Bring all your friends. I'd like to have a piece of whatever's in their mind as well.
Ooh.
And you will be a very juicy meal."
I think like Ashan's like still really fighting off the drowsiness. Hates that. And is gonna like it is gonna like yell out because they're on roofs. I'm just gonna yell out for Virash, like try and see it like if I can get any of your attention.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that I could hear that. I've got those big fan ears.
Mm-hmm. We have
And
a
the thingy has fully disappeared on my end, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't want to be rude to the person whose house I'm in and break their window by jumping out of it. That would be really rude.
It's probably covered out by insurance.
Because you're not like panic yelling. You're like, I really need to get your attention yelling, right? Like I can kind of tell the difference.
I think I'm panicking. I'll say that this is
Okay.
I'm terrified of the situation. This monster is in my head and is running off, and you're like the one lifeline that I have.
Okay, cool. Then I definitely go through the window. You can
Okay.
see her like look at the window, look back at the door, throws a gold coin onto the bed, and just runs for the window. Shoulders through it.
Oh my
And then we
God.
have that like slow motion moment of me like flying out with all the debris broken around me in the broken glass, and then her wings open and just give a big flap, and then the chains that are tattooed onto them all like glow really brightly, and she grimaces and just like falls out of the air.
Oh.
Nice.
Ah.
Be so cool. I love it.
In the library, I think this fight has been going on, or like you're sort of like back and forth. I think Mac definitely gets to the book and scoops up whatever he was reading from. Did you want to do anything in particular with that book?
I mean, do I hear the sounds of kerfuffle and
Yeah, you hear
ruckus?
like crack, swing, swing, crash,
Yeah.
glass, and then
Oh my
like
god.
Ben's chanting.
Yeah, no, I go back. I'm not gonna read a book. I'm not Ben. I'm not gonna read a book while people are dying. No offense, Ben.
Yeah, you come back and you see your two compatriots who are like at varying levels of like brandishing the baseball bat or like the book in the briefcase.
Ben also has a gun, like Agent.
Oh yeah, naturally.
Hey, books are your thing. Guns are my thing. Okay. Let's
Let's stick to what we know.
yeah.
Gun book.
Yeah. So he whips around. He sees that he's surrounded, and he goes, "All right, okay. So you clearly, know what's going on here. What are you, FBI, CIA, Illuminati?"
MIB.
Mac was like with him up until that point, and then Illuminati is like, and then kind of looks at Ben like, is that a thing?
Do we know what?
All of the
Do we
above,
know
but
those
we're not
guys?
affiliated with the main Illuminati branch. They're a bunch of j-holes. You're coming with us. Stand down. We're going to be taking you into custody.
That's cute. You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah,
And
remember.
am I? Or am I surrounded by all the things that live inside your head? He traces a circle with his knife. I'd like a volunteer from one of you.
100%.
What
I
is
was gonna.
what is something Mac is terrified of?
Oh.
Like an abstract fear or like a literal fear?
Either.
Either? Losing your kid.
Okay. I think he swirls the knife, and out of a portal. How old is Mac's kid?
Mac's kid is probably 12.
12. Okay. So a 12-year-old falls into his arms, and he's like surprisingly strong. And he goes, "I've just summoned your child from across space and time. There's a lot you don't know about me, but I do know this about you. You do anything to keep your kid safe. So you either let me walk away, or they die."
Yeah, no hesitation. She turns the gun on Ben. Move.
What did the rest of us see?
You see this happen. You
Oh,
see
okay,
him like
okay.
trace the circle, and the kid falls in.
Oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that's fair.
All right, just let the kid go.
Sure. Catch, and he shoves the kid towards Mac, and he
Oh.
bolts.
Oh,
What do you do?
I drop the gun and grab my kid.
You drop the gun. You run forward. Your child runs at you and goes, "Mom, Mom!" Wisps.
Yep.
As soon as they hit you, it's just like smoke.
Adia is running after Taggart or
Okay,
whatever.
you run.
Whatever they are now.
Yeah.
Run them down. I'm gonna go find Ashan. And Ben kind of leaps back out the same window. No, he leaps out a different window. And I'll spend my other hold to go join the fight against the Sandman.
Awesome.
To show up prepared and ready to fight the Sandman.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Give me.
Yeah, the Adia runs around, and I think you see, like, from behind, you can see him running, like, down the parking lot and, like, clicking furiously to get to his car.
Mac is just left in the library alone after that.
Yeah, with a shotgun on the ground and, like,
Oh no.
just the dissipated child. What does Mac do?
Max starts running after Adia and asshole. What's his name?
Connor Taggart.
Yeah, Taggart. Yeah, she starts running and does not pick up the shotgun. Just bolts.
Just runs. Yeah.
I did want to grab Mac's book just in case, because you never know what you can find in a Mac book.
Oh my god.
Bless you.
What?
Oh my god.
Okay, so I
Oh,
think
God damn it.
Mac and Adia are chasing after Taggart in a car. Ashan, Virash, you arrive at a house. The Sandman is standing on. It's in the cul-de-sac. So he's standing on top of this house. The lights have gone off. There is like faint light glowing, like from a TV or something, on in the living room, and the Sandman is crawling his way into one of the open windows as you arrive.
Nice. I'm still like brushing, plaster and stuff off of me from where I dove out the window. I think it was
Yeah.
only like a second story, so I didn't get particularly hurt or anything, I guess. And what does Ashan look like now that we're on the hunt together?
Ashan's like, I think like, for the first time, you've definitely seen them, has their like 9mm out, and is like shaking, and like it kind of like is doing like the knife gun thing, with the sword, but it's just
Oh yeah,
like
CQC.
yeah.
So I reach up and put my hand on your hand to steady it, and I say, "This one's yours. This hunt, this monster. This one's yours. You don't need this." And I like move the gun down,
Oh.
and I point to your sword.
Oh.
Oh.
I like put it away. You like see, I think like my hand steadies, but my eyes are still terrified.
Mm-hmm. Could I do a manipulate someone roll? Actually?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
Do that.
I feel like that's absolutely what's happening.
Cool. Rolling with charm. That's a 9.
They mark experience if you do what you ask.
And you're telling me put the gun away.
Put the gun away, and like you take point on this one. Don't rely on me.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll take the experience.
Yes.
Yes.
Power
we get a
leveling my
cool-
descendant.
We get a cool like moment of like, yeah, okay, as you're
Yeah.
like putting the knife out. And as you're taking a step onto the lawn, I think that's when Ben's car like peels up and like does the slide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think like Ashan tries to like kind of get in that mindset immediately and like just kind of like makes eye contact with Ben and then does like some hand shit like cuz like we got this thing
Yes.
that way
Nice.
and just keeps moving, like doesn't really wait for Ben
Hell
to get
yes.
stuff.
Ben starts moving, still flipping through Mac's book. I'd like to see if I can investigate a mystery. I just want to see if I can figure out what this thing is weak against.
Nice.
If I can
Smart.
Yep.
roll well.
We'll find out. While you're doing that, in the car, Adya and Mac, you've been tailing this guy along the different winding streets, and like we're going down one of those like wooded New England roads where like there's no light, so it's just pitch blackness, and then your headlights with the brights on as you're like trying to swerve around and like not hit a tree. Would Mac? I think Mac, if you're trying to catch up to him, that's acting under pressure.
Yep.
But you got +1 because you're a driver.
Yep. All right,
Nice.
let's see. Acting under pressure, that's cool.
Plus cool. And Ben has nailed that investigate a mystery.
That's a
Uh,
9.
So I'd like to ask, what can hurt it, and then where did it go?
Okay. What can hurt it? Yeah, based on what you've read and your research, you're pretty sure that direct sunlight will absolutely like either directly harm it or weaken it.
Mhm.
That is a big thing. So he only comes out at night. He doesn't like to do anything in the day. In addition, you can probably do a binding ritual using, some cultures have like worry dolls and things like that. If you have a similar token, you can perform a ritual with a number of different magical reagents to try and amplify that to bind him in place.
Okay.
As long as like the sunlight will absolutely like harm him. If it's shining on him, it'll totally like, and he is killed during that time, he's done. And there are ways. You're a government agency. You can figure that out. You've got tools in your back, in your trunk.
You got tools.
Mhm.
Exactly. In fact,
Where
I
he
have a-
went, you
Yeah.
see in the living room a silhouette slowly getting closer and closer to the window.
Excellent. Well, I have a move called preparedness. So if I need something unusual or rare, I can do exactly what I can maybe start that ritual.
Okay.
So let's see those boxcars.
For go ahead.
Hey, look, it's in the trunk.
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
nice.
You got exactly what you need.
And
Oh.
Ben kind of nods back to Sean and says, "Keep him busy. I've got what I need."
And I kind of grab your shoulder and I say, Sean's calling the shots.
Oh,
As you were.
While that's happening, on the 7 and 9 for Mac,
I would like to use luck to make it a 12, actually.
perfect. You catch up to him. Your fender is like bumping against him. As you're starting to come out of the end of the woods, and to a more open area where there's some natural light, a covered bridge coming up over a river. What do you do?
I try and like sort of come off to the side and like tap the corner of his back end to get him to spin out.
Okay. I think you're kicking some ass.
Okay.
Our style.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking car ass.
Kick
Because
some
while
fender.
you're doing that, he sees you and goes for something on the passenger seat and pulls out just a small handgun and
Okay.
is trying to get a shot off on you as you're hitting him.
Yeah, okay. It's not like an oil slick.
Yeah.
No.
And then
Max got like one
cold-
hand on the
Not
wheel and
Scooby-Dooing
like if Adia's in the passenger, like grabs her shoulder and like pushes her down, like so that Adia does not get
Yeah,
hit.
like move.
While this is happening, can Adia have had her laptop out and doing an investigate a
Yes.
mystery? Alrighty.
Ooh.
I will burn another luck to make that a 12.
Perfect. What did you want to do as the goal? Like knock him off the road?
I want his car to be disabled, like probably like a side slides into like a divider, and like he gets like bumped on the head, and like gets like not knocked out, but like disoriented a little bit.
Okay. So I think you force them where you want them.
Yeah.
From that extra. Yeah, you force him off as he gets a shot off. So what's the investigate result? You got a 12.
12, yes.
Okay, you can spend 2 hold.
Yeah. I think first I want what sort of creature is it? So I think she's been like cross-referencing this between what she's like researching and trying to like research as they're careening down the street.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And you're specifically him, right?
yeah, specifically.
He's a mage. He's some kind of sorcerer. He's not a monster per se. He clearly knows how certain spells work based on what he's doing. Most of the power seems to be amplified through the knife. So he clearly can do things. It's just that is helping him really focus it.
Okay. I think my next question is what can hurt it? But like specifically like is he being protected in any way, or is he just like a human besides having that knife, I guess?
He is a human. The tattoos definitely seems to be helping him.
Okay.
The disabling spell that Ben cast seems to like pull his connection to them. So he put them on himself to protect himself. Over time, perhaps it's likely that he'd be able to recharge them with magic. But for now, his wards are down. So hurting him in any physical way would work. So that as that happens, I think like you're researching, you're like yelling this out to Mac. Mac like gets the bam. His car goes sliding up against the guardrail and like bam, and just grinds that horrible metal on metal sound. But as he hits, he loses control of the gun, and the bullet sails through the window and I think hits Mac in the arm.
No.
For 3.
No.
3? What?
Yeah.
What kind of bullet is this?
It's a- lethal
Good bullet.
damage from a gun?
My
Rude.
handgun? I'm taking that handgun.
We gotta save the handgun so you can take it.
Yeah. And I think the shot that we cut back to the house on is like the car sliding there, the lights are on, the horn is going off, and the two of you presumably getting out of the car and starting to walk over. Unless you
Yeah.
stay in the car, I don't know what you do.
Yes, definitely start walking towards the car.
Yeah. same.
Yeah. Okay. In the house, I think we cut to like you guys going around the back, maybe, and finding the back door open, and walking slowly into the house. There are kids asleep in the living room in their sleeping bags. Netflix is still running like some movie, like some a horror movie, like a movie they should not be watching, but the sound is really low. And there's this long, lanky figure that is like walking over and reaching over each of these kids, and like you see now up close, like he's leeching some kind of energy from. He like waves his hand over their face and then pulls like a puppet. Is like pulling energy from their foreheads
Mm-hmm.
and then stuffing them in his bag.
I look to a shot.
Yeah, so does Ben.
So
With
wait,
fire.
could you could you re-describe where we are witnessing this?
Yeah.
from?
So I think you went around the back of the house
Yeah.
to get here, in this cul-de-sac. From the back door, you like go up the porch. You go
Yeah,
through
okay.
a kitchen, and then you're in a kitchen, looking down a hallway into the living room.
Okay.
And it's like an open living room with like the couches have been pushed off to the sides, the coffee table has been moved aside so that kids can like sleep in here.
Yeah.
And there's like an overturned popcorn bowl and like more pizza plates and stuff like that.
I want to do some magic, and I'm not entirely sure if this is in the list of stuff. But I want to
futz around
try
with it.
and like pull him towards us.
Ooh, good.
That sounds cool. I could help with that.
I think you probably could.
I think I like use my tooth and like slash along the back of my arm and like pour some of my blood onto the spell that you're working.
Hell yeah!
Oh my god.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally summon a monster into the world. I mean, this is a monster. You're just
And,
summoning it from right over there. And
From right over to here.
Yeah.
You're right.
And while you guys prepare to summon it, Ben kind of hastily scrawls out a circle.
Wait, I roll with cool. Whoops.
Yeah, to
I'm
help.
just kidding.
I think like, can I I'm gonna bring it outside to like to out of the house. Like I'm gonna try and pull it out.
To like distract it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that we can like.
Because it's not sunlight out now, right? It's late.
No, it's
Yeah.
like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So get it away from children.
Yeah.
Start
yeah.
moving it out. All right. So let's do that roll. Oh, Lord. Oh, and I get a +1. Okay.
Didn't even need it.
Here we are.
Well, I helped you
Nice.
up to a 13.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashan's like mad. I think like the stages of being terrified and then kind of seeing what's happening, like the resolve of from Virash, and then like seeing what's happening is like, no, this thing is evil, and it's my job to stop it, kind of thing. And then just I don't even think it's like a showy kind of spell that happened. It's just the blood, and then it's just he like points at it and then just pulls back, and then all of a sudden it,
Yoink.
yoinks.
So he looks like back and like is suddenly thrown like through that down the hallway and then
Yeah.
out. It's like whoa, like
I think like it's he's like flying straight towards me, and I just step out of the way as it flies back
Yeah.
out through the
Yeah.
deck window.
he like whiffs into some bushes in the back. The kids are completely asleep. You can see like there's a little glint of that powder you saw earlier that's kind of faintly on all of them that's keeping them asleep.
Mhm.
But he's in the backyard and you step into the backyard. In the car, Connor is like really messed up. Like he's not, it doesn't look like he's going to make it.
Mhm.
And he is reaching around trying to find his handgun or something as you walk up to the car.
Can Adia look for the knife? Has that fallen somewhere?
It's
Or-
fallen somewhere, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I need to do anything, but yeah, she's looking for that knife.
Okay. I think you can just do it and you'll find it somewhere in the situation.
Yeah, Mac's gonna look for the gun and try and like either kick that away or grab it.
Okay. I think both of you, one of you is reading a bad situation. One or both of you.
Ooh, let me see.
I'll help you out, Audio. Is that
Yeah, that works. My sharp is good.
all right? Help is cool.
Helping people is cool.
And as part of your help out, Virash, I think you just take 1 harm for like opening up the blood.
Yeah.
So you get a +1, I think.
Woohoo.
Yep.
Alright. +1. Can I take that other +1s also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
All right, so you've got 3 hold to spend as you go
Okay.
on this whole situation. That's amazing.
Okay.
It's
Before.
literally the best roll you can make in this game.
Yes. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Yeah, he's got the knife in his hand.
Got it.
And it looks like he's trying to channel a spell into it.
Alrighty. Um. mm, what's most vulnerable to me? I guess what's the most vulnerable part of him? I guess is the question I'm trying to
So
go
even though
for.
he's got the spell charging, he doesn't have the gun. He's still like the airbag has detonated and like exploded. He's like really jammed in here. He's a sitting duck. Like unless
Okay.
he can get this spell off, you could just if you wanted to kill him, you could just pop him.
I think Adia pulls out her butterfly knife and just jams it into the hand that is holding the other knife.
Oh.
Nice. Okay, so it goes right in and he like screams. And he's like reaching out and trying to grab at Adia and like try and like claw your face.
Ugh.
But he's not he's just struggling.
All right. If Adia can grab the knife,
Yeah,
the
you
other
can
knife,
yank it out of his hands.
does it feel weird when she?
It feels
grabs it?
bad.
Okay.
Like it you do not like holding this thing.
Okay. I think she's gonna like put it up to him, like up to his neck, the magic knife.
Yeah.
Does he seem
He's like,
unhappy about that?
okay. All right. You win.
Who sent you? Or who is why are you here?
I was just here on my own until I realized what my purpose was. I didn't know why I was here. I don't think any of us do. That changed a couple years ago. Maybe you've heard of it.
Something called the Phaeton event, I presume.
That's what you call it.
What do you call it?
The return.
Okay. The return of what?
The masters.
Oh.
The true inheritors.
Great. um,
You beat them once. They won't make that mistake again.
We beat them, or do you mean just people in general?
Oh.
Is
You.
that the royal we or
There were others. Those of us who are on the winning side. They went off, they had kids, and more, and people forgot. When the sky was lit on fire, those of us with the blood of the inheritors, we awoke. We learned what our purpose was.
I'm trying to think what else she wants to ask. If that was the return, what are you all waiting for?
For their arrival. That's the pre-show. The flare. The spark. when that happened, we knew what our purpose was. To prepare. To roll the carpet out. They're coming. You'll see.
Yikes. I think Adia, this is going to be your last question, probably. Is there, when is this supposed to happen?
It's already happening. But they'll be here soon. Very soon. You'll know.
All right. Great talking to you.
Max got her like her small 22 out and has had you covered this whole time, and she's just like, Adia, I've got cuffs in the car. I've got them. Grab those for me.
Okay. I think Adia gets up and then just like makes eye contact with Beck and then walks past you.
And if you don't mind, I'll GM this moment a little bit.
Yeah,
and
please.
The camera kind of follows Adia, and then we just hear a pop, and we get a little flash in the background, like obviously from a gun, and then if Adia comes back, Mac is just there, and Max says he reached for the gun.
I think Adia comes back. I don't think she comes back with cuffs. She just comes back and is like, I told them when bad people lie, bad things happen to them.
Yeah, he shouldn't have reached for the gun. And he's just got like one eye, a bullet right in one eye.
Yeah. That's good. Oh. And as we cut to our finale moment, the Sandman like crawls out of the bushes and he winces for a second. Like ugh. No matter. And he sees all of you like assembled on the porch. And he like reaches out his hands and he goes, "Which one of you would like to rest easy first?"
I think I think Ashan just kind of looks at Virash and just like points.
Nice.
Just like,
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm down for that. I will be off like a bullet.
You dive with the blade, right?
I'm gonna try and take a bite out of this guy too, actually.
Yeah.
a Sandman takes.
Hit him with that kick some ass.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Got a 10.
All right, you trade blows, and you get an extra effect.
I'm going to say that the harm is great. So I will deal him an additional 1 harm on top of my 3 from the teeth.
Beautiful. You really lay into him.
Yeah.
Like his body gets like the blade is messy, so like there's a whoosh as the blade swings, but we don't see the connection, but we do see like as he like gets cut, that like dust sparkles and twinkles as it flies out of his body.
Mhm.
It's almost like a Sailor Moon transformation, but gore.
Nice. Right.
Yes.
As he like you bite him, and
Mhm.
he reaches around and he sinks his horrible teeth into you at the same
Nice.
time. It's
Very
like you both
Ugh.
go for bites. Like you've got his arm and he's got your neck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rad.
It's 3 harm.
That
Sorry, 2
sweet-
harm. 2 harm.
2 harm for
sweet,
me.
Sweet
Yeah.
consensual
Boop.
war.
So the two of you are like wrestling.
Oh
what
my
does
gosh.
Ashan and Ben do?
Popcorn now.
Like- as this is happening, I guess Ashan kind of like turns to Ben and says like, "Do you have a binding ritual ready?"
Ben just kind of like looks at Ashan like, yeah, and pulls up the like different ingredients that they've got, including the liquid silver from before and some of the like reagents from the lab.
Uh-huh.
I think that's your big magic ritual. So you start that, and as you're doing that, like the Sandman he starts to glow, kind of like a gold, and like those yellow shackles start wrapping around his body, and he's like getting sluggish.
Ooh. I guess like I'm gonna try and just hold it in place again. Because this thing needs to fucking stop.
Yep.
Please, Mr. Standman, please.
Yeah.
My part, I'm just trying to eat as much sand as possible.
You're just like gnawing.
He can't get away if he is inside my tummy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna spend...
Are you gonna level up this one? This
Oh, but I'm gonna spend a luck.
Let me. I was gonna assist you on this one since we both can like do this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you're,
yeah.
Calling the shots here.
Yes.
Please do.
I do.
Okay.
Great.
Putting myself in danger, but Ben is there for you.
Yeah, Ben.
Some encouraging words.
Yeah, so he's like, now, I'm not finished with this one yet. And so he whips around and like hucks some of that magical sand at Ben as you're casting. So you start to feel drowsy while you're chanting. That is your danger, I think, to like do anything further. You'd have to act under pressure. And you got a 6 on your spell to like try and bind him, right?
I got a 7, right?
Oh, you added it up to a 7, yeah.
Yeah.
So you get your effect plus a glitch.
Yeah. I think like yeah, I guess I'm gonna probably try and bind it as well. Like hold it in place so like Virash can come back at it.
Yeah.
Trap
So
a specific person, minion, or monster.
Yeah.
Which glitch did you want to take?
That's what I'm looking at right now. I am not sure. I guess like the effect is of a short duration.
Okay.
Probably.
So I think it's like you try and bind, but it's more of like a stun, like an AoE burst.
Mm-hmm.
That like energy erupts from him, sort of pushing Virash back, so you can come back in for another dive. And he's like stunned more than anything else. Like,
Nice. I have a desire to pick him up and suplex him.
Do it. I think he's like stunned and he's bound. You could absolutely suplex him to like just drop kick him into the earth.
That's cool, right? All right, cool. So
Yeah,
I get around
dreams.
him and just like flying backwards.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think you
That's
don't even have to
perfect.
roll for this one because he's stunned and he's bound.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Ben is having trouble, like,
Oh no.
you slam him into the ground. You hear a horrible like crack. Like you don't know how his geometry and anatomy works.
It's
but
set up in
it's
there,
being
but-
folded up really badly. But he like crumples, almost like paper.
Ooh.
And then as you like get up, he grabs you by the leg and pulls you down for a second and climbs up on top. Hello, Minapod Studios. Thank you for the raid. We are wrapping up a monster hunt against the Sandman.
Yeah.
We're fighting the Sandman, baby. So he drags Virash down, this silver dragon, onto the ground. And he climbs up, and he's not climbing on top of you. He's climbing next to you, this long Slenderman-like figure. And he throws his hand on your forehead with his like dying breath. And he says, "Now, what could you possibly be afraid of?" And you feel his hand pull, and we see like flashes of Virash in the past, of like full dragon Virash,
Yeah.
like hacking through hordes of things. And there are other dragons here too, other dragon folk that are like holding the shields and like pounding their swords against them and like rattling their spears, barking like "Hold! You will hold!" And the camera pans up as this like storm cloud is coalescing, this reddish orange and black storm clouds, and as the lightning cracks and thunders inside the storm, you see these city long tentacles in the clouds, silhouetted, slowly beginning to descend. um and the last thing I think we see is like Virash like covered in blood, just exhausted, completely drained from the fight, and like, I'm ready to throw in the towel. And then you look up, and all you see is just one of these things just start to come through the clouds, and then he dissipates. In the dream disappears, and the Sandman dissipates into dust, and just Sirocco wins its way away.
Nice. I'm just lying on the ground.
I like drop my sword and like run up to you, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Virash, are you all right?" Like,
Yeah, and like I'm clearly like much more messed up than I've been before.
yeah.
I like give a little cough and some purple blood stains my teeth. I say, "You should see the other guy."
Oh.
Oh yeah, the umbrella is in the bushes. That's a good question.
I just kind of give Virash a big ol' hug. I'm like holding
Aw.
you, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You did good, Sean. You did really good. And
I'm
I
trying to-
clap you on the back.
just trying to make my grandma proud.
Yeah. You did that.
Mm,
I'm gonna take a nap now.
yeah.
Think I could use some sleep.
We should all regroup.
Uh,
I don't know if he'll be back, but if he is, we'll be ready.
Gonna finish eating that guy.
And as you're all getting to your feet, you hear a slide of a door, and there's a small child standing, like rubbing their eyes in their pajamas, going,
Oh no.
"What are you guys doing in my backyard?"
I was worried you were going to say he can't see or he has like white eyes. I'm like,
No.
Oh yeah, no, the kid can sit. And that is where we call our session. We ran a little bit
Yeah.
over, but we tied it all together. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Unnatural Disasters, a Monster of the Week campaign, here every week, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Don't miss it. We are going to go around and tell people very briefly who you are and where we can find you coming up. Starting with Rue.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rue. I played Adia today. You can always find me here on Wednesdays, but this week I have some extra things going on. So this Friday on the Critical Bits channel, I will be a guest in their Pasión de las Pasiones game, which I am super excited about. I have been wanting to play that forever. Thank you for the bits.
Thank you for the bits, Chutnut.
So that will be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and the rest of the time zones, you guys can figure it out. And then also on Monday, back on Welcome to the Party, I will be in the side quests one-shot, Pain and Regrets. It's a Star Wars hack of lasers and feelings, but
Nice.
it's all about pain and regrets. I'm sure it'll
Ajay's,
be,
right?
yeah, it is.
Sweet.
Ajay
Oh.
is GMing. So,
Nice.
Oh, okay. I gotta watch
Yeah.
both of these.
It will.
Don't miss that.
So that will be 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm excited. I'm sure it'll be very light and happy. Can't imagine it being anything else.
Have you played with Ligier before? Because I played as one of his Star Wars games, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Awesome. Alex.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Zendaris, and I design games at zendaris.itch.io. If you like sexy badass dragons like Virash, you should check out my game Dragon Hearts,
Play it.
which is really, we played it on the channel a couple of weeks ago. You can also watch from the itch.io page for it, that game, which was super fun. And I'm also on the Welcome to the Party Ryutama stream, speaking of even more dragons, which is Monday mornings, which is, I know it's early, but there's VODs for it you can even watch. So that's been a lot of fun, a very wholesome, nice game. Totally different from this one, where I get to play a nice, cheerful, naive merchant girl. So that's fun.
Oh,
Nice.
I think I'm next, right?
You are next.
Okay, yeah. I'm Viditia. You can find me on Twitter at Viditia Valetti. My thing's down there. And then you can support my work. I'm not on any other streams or something, but I am a game designer. You can support my work at viditiavaletti.itch.io. I recently released a game that's like a universal GM-less game, so have fun with that. Check it out. Play a game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm up to.
Right on. JR.
I'm JR. You can find me on Twitter below. You can also find the gaming articles I write at belloflostsouls.net. I am a writer as well, and I'll be working on a Kickstarter coming up in the summer called Monster Care Squad, which is basically Monster Hunter, and Shadow of the Colossus, but you're trying to take care of and heal the monsters instead. It's really cool. I'm gonna drop a link to that, the get notified page in the chat here. You'll definitely want to check it out. There's some awesome peeps on that, and that's it.
And last but not least, Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin, or Knitnack. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter on knit_knack, and I recently wrote a game called Closed Fits. It's up on my itch page, which I'll link in the chat, which is about punching your friends in the face. And I also wrote an adventure for the Unbreakable anthology, adventures inspired by Asian cultures and stuff written by Asian folks and illustrated by Asian folks. It's real good. Please buy it up on Drive-Thru RPG right now. Silver bestseller.
Hell yeah.
Get that paper.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm Simon. I have been the keeper for this story. I'm on a number of different streams. You can find me here once again every week, Wednesdays, 8 p.m., running this game. I am on Scraticus Academy on Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We're playing Blades in the Dark. I am also a cast member on Arrowen, which is a Numenera game in a homebrew setting that draws inspiration from Skyward Sword, with a lot of global influence, India, Filipino culture, Latin American culture. It's very cool and very exciting. That's Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Welcome to the Party. And also kicking up at the end of the month, May 31st, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on, I think, the All Nerds here. I think we have an actual Twitch page. I don't know what the link is yet. Find me on Twitter, Lucha Libris. There will be a link there. But we are starting up season 2 of PWN Presents Slaughter, our worldwide wrestling RPG game.
Oh,
It's amazing. We wrestle with puppets sometimes. It's amazing. I play Poison Ivy. Not really, but you know what I mean. She's a Poison Ivy character. That's a great time. And if you are looking for a game and you'd like to shell out a couple bucks for a pro GM, you can hire me or one of many other great GMs for the Magpie Games curated play program. It's magpiegames.com/curated-play. We run Masks, we run Bluebeard's Bride, Zombie World, Pasión de las Pasiones. I have a campaign of that that you can register for in a couple of days. So get on that. And finally, if you're looking for some stories to listen to that are not role playing games, but you want to hear my voice in them, you can learn more about the Penumbra podcast on Twitter or on the internet. I'm a voice actor. It is a queer sci fi and fantasy audio drama. It is great if you are into queer stories because you deserve to see yourself in them. And I play a bunch of villains. So enjoy that. For everyone else that joined us, whether you just hung out in chat, whether you donated bits, if you rated us, if you subbed, if you followed, any of that is fantastic support. It helps keep the channel alive. It helps us give us something to work forward to, right? We're here to entertain you. So we hope that you enjoy it. Tell us all about the show if you watched it and you want to know more in the Discord. Get us on Patreon and help keep the lights on. Go get yourself a Roll20 account so you can play other great games with your friends. We are going to be rating Scraticus Academy in a moment, so if you want to find some more great role-playing actual play and you're still awake, go ahead and stick around for that. But until next time, we will see you next week with more monster hunting goodness. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, some bits.
Thank you for the closing bits, Crichton. We always love to have a little bit of zhuzh at the end, just a little salt, just a little sauce.
pizzazz.
Yeah, everybody got their own
Little-
particular spice. Wonderful.